Hey, what's happening, everybody? How's everybody doing? Welcome to Sunday, another fun day. It's amazing. Thank you for coming out. Want to thank everybody for joining. See some folks in the chat. Make sure you give me that one if I'm coming through okay. Got to get on my chat game so I can see everything. Give me that one, give me that one, give me that one. Let me know that you guys can hear me and you can see me. Got some exciting news. Hey, Lizzie B, what's happening? What's happening? I see you. I see some ones. Thank you, Tiffany, Lisa. I hate mornings in the house. A deeper look. Okay, thank you guys. Appreciate it. Teresa Skinner in the house. What's happening? Kevin Ferran, what's up? What's up? Rachel, what's going on? Everybody's here. Hopefully, everybody had a wonderful weekend, wonderful week, an amazing holiday for those who celebrate. Remember, traffic safety takes no holiday, so hopefully everybody had a safe and fun holiday. With regard to Jenny, I think she may have had some stuff to do today. It was kind of up in the air whether she was actually going to be able to make it or not. But okay, all right, got some good news on that front, which I will be sharing soon. So I'm going to check to see if she is coming in later. Maybe she'll come in later. Okay. Yeah, she might be busy with some other stuff right now. So before she gets here, because she still might be coming in, hopefully I can keep you guys entertained while we're waiting for Jenny to appear. No fuss, no muss. Either way, we'll get through it. We'll make it. We'll be able to do it, guys. We can do it. I believe in you. You believe in me. We believe in each other. Amazing. All right. So, good news on some fronts. For some people who are having difficulties with my mic, I am getting a new microphone, y'all. I had to update my system. And so I guess I've been doing it kind of ass backwards. But in any event, it's going to be amazing. Hopefully it sounds so much better and people will be able to hear my rich melodic voice as it comes through the screen. So I'm very excited about that. And then once I get that mic, part of what prompted me to get the mic was I was trying to shoot some independent, like 5-10 minute videos or whatever, get those rolled out. And every time I shot it, the mic, like I changed my sound system and everything so that I could hear a little better. And it just sounded crazy. So I can't use the mic or the sound system I have. So I had to get some new equipment. And once that new equipment comes in, I'm releasing videos, more consistent videos on the MyTakeOnReality site or channel, as well as, like I mentioned before, I have a new channel that I'm going to be rolling out. I should be getting my mic in the next couple days there or so. So once I get my mic, I'm going to be rolling out my new channel, which will be My Take on Family Court. It's going to be talking about court cases, dealing with divorces, child support, child custody, PFAs. It's going to cross the gamut. There's a couple that I've already saved down and I'm really looking forward to talking about. And hopefully you guys will be able to join me for those. Very excited about that. Also, to keep you guys on par with everything that's going on, tomorrow night we're going to be doing the Sister Lives with both Sarah and Amanda. We're doing the last episode in season 2, which is episode 11. And then we're doing the first episode in season 3. And this one is talking about them being in Vegas and the sister wives, coming to terms with the fact that Robyn and Cody messed around and got pregnant. And I have an entire theory about why they moved to Vegas in the first place. I think I shared a little bit of it. We're getting deeper into the weeds with that. We're talking about the book. I'm so glad that you guys came in and so many of you had inspired me to start reading the book and do this book review, because it gives me such a deeper understanding with regard to what is going on. Because as we go back and we're doing this retrospective with the Sister Lives, I am seeing the time period that this book was written, because it was during this time that the book was written. All right. And so I think it's very interesting. Like, I think that when you put the two together, especially during this time period, like the retrospective I'm doing on Mondays, as well as the Sunday night review I do with Jenny, and getting all those input, a lot of stuff is starting to make more sense to me. Things that never made sense to me before. So I'm very excited about it. Okay, Christy, I shall see you there. It is very exciting. Actually, I tell you what, when Jenny gets here, I'm gonna. Well, I can't do it now. Dang it! I'm gonna by tomorrow. If you guys tune in tomorrow, I'll have the channel in the back that you'll be able to see my new channel. All right, so I'll be doing that. I'll work on that tonight. Raspberry said, "I'm eating nachos on principle today." GP, just general principle. That's right. That's nacho cheese. Christine should have said, "That's not your man." Yeah, so very excited. Yeah, it should be a lot of fun, Danny. I'm looking forward to it because that, believe it or not, that's a little more in my wheelhouse with the legal stuff. That's a little bit more in my wheelhouse, but I'm excited to give my perspective on a lot of these issues. Now, it's not going to be me necessarily tearing apart because these are judges and attorneys talking about it. So in fair play. But what I will speak about is just general presentation, how some of the folks, wow, I look a little red, don't I? A little warm on that. Turn that down a little bit. Woo. So it'll be like just talking about like some of the reactions and just from a layperson and seeing how this stuff works, because it's so important, in my opinion, especially just as kind of an offshoot. It's so important that we understand how the court systems work, not just because we may find ourselves in a court system. Hopefully we don't. But the system that we have, especially here in the States, is set up in a way that we're supposed to be able to know what's going on. We should have some familiarity with the law and the courts and how they work. And we have the right to see and come to our own conclusions as to whether the system is working. And that's, in spirit of that, that's part of the reason why I rolled the channel out. So very excited about that. I hate more than say Christine should wear a shirt wearing Nacho Girl t-shirts. Maybe I'll roll that out as merch. That's a good merch idea. Give me ideas. Give me ideas. I made the like button nachos today. Oh, I did not catch Ben's live today on TikTok. I'll go back and take a look at it. I will take a look at it. I signed up for TikTok so I can watch his lives. And that was actually the video I was working on. I was doing a reaction to his reaction to Sister Wives. So, and that's when I was like, wow, this microphone is horrible. So now we're getting a new microphone. And that, in no small part, thanks to you guys with the super chats and stuff, helping me pay for a lot of the equipment and stuff that I need in order to try to make the channel better. So hopefully you guys enjoy that. Sarah. Okay, Sarah. Hopefully I will see you there. Oh, he did the season finale. Oh, shit. That's going to be bad. Yeah, we can start talking a little bit about it. Welcome to Becoming Sister Wives. Where is my book? Oh, there it is. I'm like, what the shit? Got the book. Bow. That's how you can tell whether somebody can read, whether they hold a book upside down or not. Like, oh, he's not reading that. So there's some interesting things about the book as it's laid out. In fairness, I think that for the most part, oh, wow. I think for the most part, this section on Robyn is very revelatory in the sense that it gives us the consistency of how Robyn presents herself. What do I mean by that? It says absolutely nothing. And it does a lot of superfluous talking where it's like a lot of flowery talk. Oh, yes, having the family together and us uniting to be one. You know what I mean? That flowery, we unite to become Voltron, or the Mighty Morphin Power Ranger, whatever they big creature is. That's what we do. And then I form the head. It's so wonderful. Yeah, that's kind of how I took her entire presentation of this chapter. It tries to paint Robyn's situation or entry into the family and her incorporating her kids into the family as a smooth process that's done with a lot of love, care, and in genteel way. She still starts to make herself, and this is where it gets a little weird because it started to get a little weird because this is one of the first points where she starts to make herself a victim, because she's realizing, because as we recall, when they wrote this book, right? This book first came out. The book was done in the second year that they were on the show. This is like the second season of the show, going into the second season. So after they finished the first season, they were going on like the Today Show. They were on with Joy Behar. They were doing like mainstream television. Okay, and they thought they made it. Okay, and as they thinking they made it, one of the things that they did was, hey, we're so popular. A great way for us to get the word out and for us to get some additional revenue would be for us to come out with a book. And that's what they did. They came out with a book. Now, one of the things that I thought was so interesting, because this is the part of the in these chapters, or this section called family. This is where the sister wives start to express how they deal with not only each other, but how they deal with raising their kids. How do they rear their children? And as they talk about it, of course, Mary, Janelle, and Christine are the OG3. So, of course, they already have their positions on how the children go, because they have a long line of being able to take care of kids. Hell, Logan was about 16 years old when they started filming the show. So they had about 15 years of raising kids together. And they were together, a year, 2 years before they started having children. So they have a long history together. So when Robyn comes in, and of course she has to be the authority of all things. When she comes in, the first sentence that she has, and this is what always kind of kicks it off for me, the first sentence, first paragraph, because it pretty much tells you where they at. Robyn comes in with, since I am a relative newcomer to the Brown family, I do not share as much collective history as the rest of my sister wives do. I've never lived under the same roof with any of them. So I've been spared a lot of the conflicts and growing pains that my sister wives went through as they figured out how to raise their children together and integrate their lives with one another. See, and that right there tells us everything we need to know, because Robyn coming in, as she points out, she tries to say it in a way that the family has already been established. They've already went through a lot of the difficult periods, the growing pains, trying to get adjusted to one another. So when I come in, everything is pretty much figured out, smoothed out, and it's ready for me to just apply, and enjoy. That's the position that Robyn took. However, I have a different perspective, as I often do, because I guess I'm a weirdo. But I also see it as things were already said. What's the old saying? If it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? That's what we usually say. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Don't get in there and start jigging around stuff and everything is running fine. Just leave it alone. If you got, this is like the old car special. If you have an old car, don't get in there and start messing around with a whole bunch of stuff. The thing works, leave it the hell alone. Right? You get in and try to put in new parts, all of a sudden your old car don't like them new parts and starts messing up. So let it work the way it's working. If the Brown family was working the way it was set up, you putting in new parts and new components, especially a new wife who's bringing new children into a situation where you guys are already you're comfortable with each other, but everything isn't cool. Everything wasn't cool in the gang at this time. Everything wasn't set. Everything wasn't wonderful. All the difficulties had not been worked out. So when Robyn comes into the family, she comes into the family with her own idea, her own application. As I've said before, when you start these relationships over again, you have to restart all the relationships. So you're basically resetting everything. So when Robyn comes in, she's coming in with her own mindset. She's coming in with her own kids. She's coming in with her own way of doing things. And that's how it'll get done. And so when she does that, it upsets the apple cart. All of a sudden, everything is different. And that creates a problem. And she's not backing down. She has Cody's favor. So because she has Cody's favor, a lot of the stuff that she wants done gets done. And oh well, too bad, so sad for the rest of the folks. She goes on to say, and I thought this part was super cute. She says, although I lived in my own house when I married Cody, I still became part of the Brown family in every way. I helped out with the kids and contributed my paycheck to the family to help pay all the bills. Let's stop right there. Church. When you say that you helped to pay all the bills and you contributed your check, what check are we talking about, church? What are we talking about? Let me read that one more again, because I know some of y'all just spit your food out onto your keyboards and your screens. When I read that, let me read that one more again. It said, although I lived in my own house when I married Cody, I still became part of the Brown family in every way. I helped out with the kids and contributed my paycheck. Stop right there. Read it again. Contributed my paycheck. Contributed my paycheck to the family to help with all the bills. The cooperative living was new for me. As a single working mom, it was usually up to me to make things work financially. Money was tight, but knowing that we had one another's backs was wonderful. And I thought that part was amazing. That was like the second paragraph. That wasn't like the second paragraph. That's literally the second paragraph where she starts telling these stories like, I'm She-Ra. Remember that in the first introduction when she first came into the book? I'm She-Ra. I'm the hero of the day. And I'm coming and I'm protecting myself. And she talks about, she has this, I contributed my check. Now, you have to take a step back because I know I got to look at this. Oh, thank you. That'd be great interviewing Ben. I should reach out to him. I do want to talk to him. I know some of you will probably be in here like, what? She don't have no job. Still doesn't. Lynn Skinner. She still don't have a job. Teresa Skinner. I just wanted to read off my table. Yeah, right. Lizzie has something to say. She didn't know the struggle and the hardships. No, she didn't. But see, the secret to the sauce is when she talks about she contributed her paycheck, what I believe she's talking about is her TLC paycheck. That's what she's talking about. I contributed my paycheck to help pay all the bills. Now, here's the secret to the sauce, folks. Here's the secret to the sauce. If, say, there are 5 of us, I'm Cody, there's Robyn, there's Janelle, there's Mary, and there's Christine. 5 of us, right? And we each get paid $100,000 each year from TLC. I don't think they were making that much, by the way, but let's just round the numbers out. They were each contributing $100,000 a piece in their paycheck to the family fund, the Cody Brown Entertainment LLC, right? So that's $500,000 that goes into the Cody Brown Entertainment LLC. I'm giving up my whole check. So is Robyn, Christine, Janelle, Mary, and Cody and everybody is giving up their check, that sounds great. And it would be wonderful if the money is equally divided, or more to the point, was divided. And by equal, here, I'll say it this way: equal isn't necessarily the same. Let me say it one more again. Equal is not the same. For instance, if we divided the money equally, Mary, Christine, Janelle, and Robyn would each get the exact same amount of money, even though those 4 different households. Cody's a floater, so you don't really count. Cody's, even though Mary's household would have been only comprised of 2 people, whereas Christine and Janelle's households would have been comprised of 7 people, and Robyn's household by at this time would have only been comprised of 4 people. Equal is not the same. So when she talks about we shared equally, it's easy for you to give your $100,000 paycheck and put it in a pot when you know that you're going to walk away with $300,000 of that $500,000. Oh, who wouldn't do that? That's good math right there. That's that good math. That's that new math them kids be learning in school, where you take the numbers instead of just going straight down the line and adding all the numbers, and that's being your total. You start rounding shit and take numbers and borrow numbers from the thing. You carry on 1 and a 4, and you put it in your back pocket, and you shake it around, and then that's how you come up with the approximate answer. That's that new math. Robyn's working on that new math. She's working on that new math, because I think she was getting that paycheck, and she was looking at it from the perspective of, I'm getting this huge paycheck. I'm getting this huge paycheck, and I get to enjoy it. I get to put it all into a pot. And not only do I get my money back, but I get some of everybody else's money. That's what I think she's talking about. Mama Squirrel. I think Robyn should write a book on how to cry without tears. You know who does that? Kids. Kids do that a lot. They used to call them, back in the old days, back in the olden times, they used to call that crocodile tears. That's when you be standing, because you know you're in trouble, and your mom be like, shut up before I give you something to cry about, because she know you full of crap. I feel so bad. I don't want to be in trouble. I don't want to get punished. So you fake some tears, but you don't have nothing coming out your face. Yeah, those are crocodile tears. That big head. Oh wow. Just go down and cry. Cut the chair real. Oh, well, Robyn shouldn't claim the child rearing pro. Oh yeah, she's an expert. She's an expert. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm just reading through some of the. I forget. This is live, so you can't just stop, right? James, that's dead air. That's against the rules. If this was terrestrial radio, I'd be in trouble. The FCC be coming down on me. That, for those who don't know, that's like when you get in a car and you don't use your iPad, your aux, USB aux, or your Bluetooth from your phone. Yeah, that radio, the one with all the commercials. So she goes on to write, since moving to Nevada, things have changed a lot for us and made us more of a team. We all had to contribute to the expenses to relocate our family, which was difficult for each of us. But now that we have a television show, we are essentially working together as a family on a daily basis, and we are a team financially. Woo, woo, go team. Yeah, like I said, it's easy to be a team when you are the one benefiting from the team. When they keep putting the chips in your slot, yeah, of course you want to work together, and it's a great deal. It was a great deal for her. It was a great deal for her, and to a point, this is where it becomes a little sticky, because I'm gonna say something that Most people won't say, I guess, maybe. But I think a lot of people will agree because it's true. This is where for the OG3, I wish they had a friend who they listened to, and that friend could have said to them, ladies, this shit doesn't make any sense. This doesn't make any sense. From you know what? Because she brought up the whole Vegas thing. Let's talk about Vegas because, like I said, tomorrow night on Sister Lives, we're going to be talking about Vegas, and we're going to be talking about the move to Vegas. I have some things I want to say about this move to Vegas, y'all. I have had, thank you to this book, and no small part to this book, things have started to pop for me, and I started to realize some things. When we talk about the move to Vegas, can we talk about the move to Vegas? Can we talk? That's what an old, I forget her name. Can we talk? The thing with the move to Vegas, it comes off this way. And I might even open this up. Would you guys want to call in tonight? Especially if Jenny doesn't come in, I'll let people come in and maybe I'll open it up and everybody can join in. If you guys want to come in, let me know. Let it play it up. And I'll bring you up and put you on screen. It'd be your debut, Mr. DeMille. So when they moved to Vegas, first and foremost, how did they get to Vegas? As I talked about last week, my wife pointed out there was an excellent point, and I was like, damn. Because it was like, you ever have somebody make a point and you just stop and look at her and go, wow. I had not thought of that shit. That's what my wife did to me. We were watching, I was getting ready for the Sister Lives, and I was watching some of the previous episodes, and we were watching the episode where they were going out to Vegas on them baloney skin ass tires, and they was just having blowout after blowout on the tires. And she looked at me and she said, Jay, how the hell are they moving to Vegas talking about buying new houses, and they can't even put tires on their car? And I was like, damn, you're right. That would be a stupid. This whole move to Vegas was a stupid. Okay. And I don't mean it like just to the fact that they moved to Vegas, but just how it's portrayed. It's dumb. It's insulting because according to them, they were so afraid that the cops were coming, and they were so afraid because all of a sudden Utah realized that they were breaking the law, and they started investigating them, and they might go to prison. Oh no. Right? That's what they said. But that doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make any sense. Because as Robyn pointed out, and I want to talk about this more in depth tomorrow, but as Robyn pointed out, even during the course of this show, in the last episode of season 2, like she pointed out, them moving to Vegas doesn't stop anything. She said that out of her mouth. This is what I've been saying the whole damn time. If you are committing a crime and you are being investigated for committing said crime, you moving out of town does not stop the investigation. They don't say, oh, damn, they moved. The address is wrong. We can't put it on the arrest warrant. Oh, no. We're going to have to leave that blank. Technically, they can file. In some cases, you can file for what's called a John Doe, depending on jurisdiction. You can file a John Doe warrant, in which case you don't know the person's name, but you know who you want. It might not be as specific, but you can file that arrest report. As long as there's an arrest report filed, the statute of limitations will stop on it, and they get you. If they can't get you right away, there was a person, I forget the guy's name. He this during the 60s, he had knocked off his girlfriend. Like she came over, it was like during the Vietnam War. He was protesting, and he was like one of them big hippy dippy dudes. His girlfriend comes over and they get into an argument. She slipped and fall, and he put her in the wall. And then he runs overseas, and he's hiding out in Sweden. And he hid out in Sweden up until I think it was like the 90s. He was there, right over there for like 30 years. And they charged him, they arraigned him, and I don't think he was. I think he was found guilty in abstention. And they brought him back, and they wound up doing the whole appeal thing. And they said that, well, you have to give him a new trial. And during his new trial, during the 60s, it made sense. He was like, it's the CIA. They trying to get me. And during the time, people were like, nah, the CIA wouldn't do that. They're good people. And now when he came back in the 90s, by the time he came back in the 90s, everybody was like, nah, the CIA don't do that. If they don't, if they want you or they were really threatened by you, you just wouldn't be here no more. so, so it was like he fell short because at one point they thought the government was too good. On the other side, they were like, no, if they really wanted you, because they had all the spy movies and stuff we have, if they really wanted you, you'd be gone. They would have black bagged you, or you would be either in some no name site or somewhere, you be in the desert. That's what it is. So he wound up getting convicted. I say all that to say this: they had held that conviction. The statute of limitations did not run for the 30 years that he had ran away. It just sat there as an open case. So when he came back, there was an arrest warrant. He came back, he got locked up. In fact, he didn't even come back. They went and got his ass. They went and got him. And that's exactly what, like, Utah to Vegas isn't that far. So if they were really trying to get him in Vegas, we work together, they're really trying to get you, they would just go get you. So it wasn't the fact that you were afraid of being arrested. Do you remember when Cody went down to Janelle and he said to Janelle, oh, well, let's rent a trailer because we need a trailer because Robyn wants to leave on Tuesday, even though we said we'd leave on Monday, but Robyn wants to leave on Tuesday because Dayton's birthday is on Sunday, and it'll be too much for us to have Dayton's party on Sunday and then try to leave Monday morning. And Janelle turned around and said, well, we need to get out of here because she was buying into and believing what Cody was telling her. We need to get out of here because we're about to get arrested at any moment. And then Cody turned around and said, it's stupid. And this is when he went down and started complaining to Christine. One of the first times the audience got to see him talk shit about one of the other sister wives to a sister wife. He says to Christine, your sister wife doesn't want to rent a truck because she believes that every time a cop drives down the streets and taps their brakes, they're looking at us. That's not what's happening. And then when they started talking about, which demonstrated to me that he didn't believe that was the case. And he said before, when he was talking to Janelle, the reason why we're moving is because the cops keep driving up and down the street. The second he didn't get what he wanted, then all of a sudden she's being paranoid because the cops could be driving up and down the street. And if they tap their brakes, she's overreacting. The next day, later that day, they sat in the living room and they were talking amongst each other. They were trying to explain that they were going to leave on Tuesday because that's what Robyn wanted, on Tuesday instead of the Monday that they agreed on. And he sat there, and Janelle, still afraid, says, we need to get out of here on Monday. And Cody looks at her and says, it doesn't matter because if they want to get us, they're going to get us. And I'm not going to live in fear. Remember that? So it wasn't the reason they gave on the show for them going to Vegas was not the damn reason. My position, excuse me, I'm all burping this stuff. I say all that to say this. I say all this to say this. And that's exactly right, Lizzie B. Lizzie B says, diminishing her fear is a form of manipulation. That's right. And not only, let me put it back up. Not only is it diminishing her fear, giving her said fear, and then telling her that her fear is irrational is insane. This is what gaslighting looks like. I know that's a popular term. I'm being gaslit. This is what gaslighting is. You convince somebody of a certain level of fact, and then you tell them they're insane and they're crazy because those facts aren't facts. That's gas. Like, he gaslit the shit out of Janelle. He had her scared. She was so scared. Remember when they were at Robyn's house, loading Robyn's house up, and Cody went off with the keys, and she was like, just take the stuff, throw it on the seat. Let's get the hell out of here. Janelle was serious. She was trying to be out because she was scared. She was scared. It worked. He manipulated her. He tricked her, and it worked. And then he was pissed off because it worked. It worked too good. She believed him. And she cashed it. She quit her job. She cashed in her 401k. And that's how they were able to get out there. And then you say to yourself, well, James, how in the world were they going out there shopping for houses? Hello. This is the reason why. It's the book. That's why they were doing it. It was the proceeds from the book. It wasn't the check that they were getting from TLC. That's what they use when they put their names on an application. How many people here have ever put in an application for an apartment and or a mortgage, especially a mortgage? You can't put your name on an application for a mortgage and you can't put your name on an application for a rental agreement, and you damn sure can't put your name on an application for a mortgage without having some kind of employment, some kind of source of employment. So for them to sit there and say that we had to quit our jobs because we wanted by the police, and that's why we're going to Vegas, and we're going to go out to Vegas and put our name on leases and tie ourselves financially, that would be the stupidest thing you could possibly do. The stupidest thing, guy. That's the stupidest thing. That'd be a major monumental stupid. If you think you might be going to jail, the dumbest thing you could do financially is tie yourself to a year lease that's going to put you somewhere where you owe somebody some money. You giving money away at that point. And you have to be able to show them that you have money coming in. In some cases, I've heard of apartment complexes. I knew some landlords. They would ask for, when they do their credit check, they want to see that you basically can pay your rent with one check. Or they want to be able to see that in 1 month, you could basically have 3 months worth of rent in one check, depending on where you live and what you do. That's how some of these apartment complexes are rolling. They damn sure don't want to hear, I don't have a job. I'm new to the area. And I have no way of getting any work. And I'm going to let you move into a house, much less with Cody and the rest of them. I'm going to have you guys get 4 houses and you try to use the same bank account. It was a book. It was the book. Also, let's roll it all the way back. Roll it all the way back. Why did they say they were going out to Vegas? And that's what I'm talking about tomorrow, y'all. You're going to get a little preview tonight. Why they say they're going out to Vegas? They say they're going out to Vegas, y'all, because Cody and Robyn said they wanted to start a family, didn't they? Remember in season, and this is what I'm talking about. That's why it helps to really go back and do these retrospectives, because reading this book in tandem with the time that frame that they're talking about, they wrote this book, it makes so much sense. Because for years, I couldn't figure out why the hell are they moving to Vegas? Why the fuck would you do that? That's so stupid. It makes sense that they could move to Vegas because of the book, but they moved to Vegas because Robyn wanted to start a family with Cody. She wanted to start having kids with Cody. That's why they moved to Vegas, y'all. You heard it here. That's my supposition. That's me guessing. I can't prove it either way. That's my theory of the case. That's what I believe. As a person who watches the show, that's what I came up with. They moved to Vegas because Robyn wanted to start a family. She wanted to start a family. And she wanted to be closer to her mom. Because it throws you off, because during the show, she said, we're going to go down and we're going to meet with, I went down with Robyn, with Mary, and I went down with Cody, and we're going to meet my dad, and we're going to look around for rental places and places to stay. And it makes it sound like Robyn is going down there because she's meeting with her father. But she leaves out the fact that her mom lives down there, especially in tandem with the fact that she's talking about getting pregnant. Because if they talk about in episode 11, season 2, they talk about, oh, we're having fun and we're now getting pregnant, just so we can put things into perspective. And it's a bunch of stuff, guys. I'm so excited to tell you that. So excited because it just hit me today. He goes to they go out to Vegas, right? When did they go out to Vegas? Remember, the cars broke down and they were having trouble getting the spare tires, because it was MLK Day. In 2011, MLK Day fell on what day? January 17th. What's Cody's birthday? January 17th. Remember that? January 17th. Let's think about this. If they went out there and they were trying to get the kids enrolled in school because their school semester was about to start, no sooner than they got out there, they would know when the school would start. Remember when they were in a vacation home, they said, we're in a vacation home and we're in a school district. We're a half hour away from the school district that we're going to be moving to. How would they know that? Because I, the curious beaver that I am, I looked it up. They have 24 school districts in Las Vegas. 24 different school districts. If you move to a place and you move, I'm fresh out of town, and I move to Vegas. And if I have a young child, I don't know what school district they're going to. Especially if I'm staying in a rental and I have to find a house. They want us to believe that Robyn found a rental property within 4 days of touching down. Because remember, it was 2 weeks. It was like, first, Robyn found a place. We're going to give Robyn the first place because Robyn has all these kids and her kids moved around. Because remember, that was the first thing she said. My kids moved 4 times in the last 2 years. Remember that? She was crying and no tears was coming out. But I thought we were here. I thought we were here. We moved 4 times in like 2 years. The first time was when you got divorced. You moved out of that house. You moved into a trailer when you moved from your marital house. Then you moved from your marital house into the house in St. George where Cody used to drive his car 4 hours to come see you, away from his family to go see his girlfriend every weekend. That's where you moved. And they were probably paying for that house, quiet as kept. Then you move from that house down to the new place and around the corner from Lehi. Then you move from Lehi over to Vegas, and that's why your kids have to have a special place. Blah, blah, blah. But it's funny to me that somehow you were able to find, sign, and get papers and keys for a new apartment within a week of touching down. It sounded to me like you already knew where you was going, especially since the place you were staying at was in the school district you were planning to move to. Especially since you were so close to your mom and you went down there and you wanted to be around your mom. And then just then, I'd always taken a position that it sounded so weird. It sounded so weird that you would like, because just put this in perspective. You get down there in January. You're living in the rental property. And 9 months later, you have Solomon. Solomon's birthday is what, October 26th, I think, 24th, 26th. I looked it up the other day because I was like, I did the math. These are things that you can't get around. You can lie about, me and Jenny talk all the time about them kind of fudging the numbers and fudging the dates and not being clear. Birth dates, you can't fudge. And pregnancies, you can't fudge. This ain't her first child, so there's no chance that it's like a 9-10 month pregnancy, 10-11 month pregnancy. This is a 9-month pregnancy. You know what? If he was born in October, you know when she would have had to conceive? January. She would have conceived Solomon sometime in January. Talk to your boy. So if she conceived Solomon in January, at first I thought maybe it was a situation where they did this in the rental house, which would again be a stupid. They are stupid. That's classic stupid. I don't have a place to stay. I don't know where I'm going to be at. Essentially, we're homeless. Hey, let's make more children. It's not that I have enough. It's not like Cody didn't have enough. I mean, he only had 14 kids. What's one more? What's one more mouth to feed when you're living on your second wife's 401k? What? Why not? That's the most irresponsible thing you could possibly do. But then I thought about it. I said, it's so. And then myself said, what? I said, it's so. Myself said, what? I said, it's so. And it said, stop talking to me. It's annoying. Right? I thought about it. I said, you know what makes sense? You turn around. You go in January, you plan all this out, you intend to move there because you do want to start your family because according to them, this was a whole conversation they had. Well, we got married and we had been married for so long. It was almost 10 months we had been married and it was too long. And we wanted to start having kids. And I told Cody, I'm not ready to have kids. Not yet. The show was just starting and everything was happening. And then all of a sudden, it makes sense to me that Robyn wants to be close to her mom to have kids because she wants that support because, Robyn don't do kids. Not Miss Nanny. What does the nanny do? She don't do kids, right? So all of a sudden, I need my mom for help. I need my mom for support. Yeah, the sister wives are cool, but I mean, I want to have my mom there, and I want my mom to be a part of this. And it would really be great if I could have my mom. So guess what they did? They packed up their stuff and they moved to Beverly. They moved out to Vegas with the stuff that they had because she wanted to be close to her mom. They get out, they get the apartment. All of a sudden, within a week of them touching down, Robyn finds an apartment like within 4 or 5 days because, as you recall, let's holler at your boy. As you recall, they go down and register the kids, and the kids, the first day of school for the children is the same day that they move Robyn into her new place, her new house. I'm just saying, I can't prove any of this, but it just sounds weird to me. Within the first day of them getting out there and them starting school, all of a sudden Robyn's moving into her place. And then within that same week, she gets pregnant with Solomon, because that would have been towards the end of the month, right around the time that Solomon was born, and his birthday 9 months later in October, like the 24th or whatever. Matter of fact, I'll look it up because I don't want to. It's bad enough I'm doing it. Let me look it up. I have a computer. I got a supercomputer. I come down on my kids all the time about that. Like, you guys are walking around with supercomputers in your pocket. You should have no questions. October 26th, folks. October damn 26th. Cody's birthday was what? January 17th. I don't know what, 10 days later. That's about a week later. You wind up at the rental home, and he's in there painting them sugar walls, shooting the club up. And all of a sudden, 9 months later, happy birthday. So, oh no, I don't buy the bullshit about the whole we moved to Vegas because they moved to Vegas because they wanted to start their family. They moved to Vegas because she wanted to be close to her mom. They moved to Vegas and they got their place because that's what they wanted to do. So, and how you start is how you finish. That's what the guy told me when I was a young dude. How you start is how you finish. And I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna try to read through some of these comments. When they moved to Arizona, let's do the first is last and the last is first. When they moved out from Arizona, what happened? They moved to Arizona because all of a sudden we got to get out of here, and where we go one, we go all. Remember that conversation? And all of a sudden, Gwendolyn was becoming like she was voted, and she was going to become a spokesperson at school. She was going to join student government. She had all kinds of stuff going on. This was going to be her year, kind of like Maddie. She was going to be a legend in this town. It was going to be legendary. Bump you, because we going to Arizona, where we go one, we go all. Remember Garrison? Not Garrison, Gabe? Gabe was sitting there, and he was supposed to be having like scholarship people, guys from college, coming down, look at him wrestling and playing football. He had a girlfriend. He had a whole life, and they were ready to kick that to the side because where we go one, we go all. Remember that shit? Remember that? Then all of a sudden, it just so happens, Damper Dan, the Las Vegas, the place where Cody is now in season 2, saying that he's finally found his freedom. This is his Plymouth Rock. He's finally come for his financial and his religious freedom. Now, all of a sudden, Vegas is a terrible place. It's full of sin. And I had no idea that they had casinos in Vegas. I didn't realize that they had all this adult entertainment in Vegas. So we need to move to Arizona because it's a bad influence on the kids. And they ran their asses out to Arizona. It just so happens that, guess what, guys? On the same day that I announced that we going to Vegas because going to Arizona because Las Vegas is a terrible town. Guess what? Dayton got into school. Remember that shit? And everybody, just about everybody on here, correct me if I'm wrong. Does anybody on here believe that they moved to Arizona for any reason other than Robyn wanted to go to Arizona because she wanted to be close to Dayton and get him through college? Does anybody else on here believe that that's not the case? Well, if she did that with Dayton, you don't think she would do that with Solomon? You don't think she would do that when she's talking about getting pregnant? Even way back when the family first started? They gave that bullshit excuse, and pardon my French, that they gave that bullshit excuse about moving out to Vegas because they were scared of the law? Do we think for a minute that that's the case? That she was scared of the law? Or does it make more sense to you guys? And let me know if I'm talking shit, if I'm going crazy. Does it make more sense to you that they moved to Vegas because she wanted to get pregnant and wanted to start her family and wanted to be close to her mom, but she didn't want to catch the heat because she knew that the fan base was looking at her based on what she wrote in the book? She knew the fan base would have went crazy if she uprooted the entire family, took them out to Vegas, split them all up, and put them in separate homes. Because she wanted to start her family. She uprooted all these kids, especially with them kids crying and the reaction that they had. I still see Peyton sitting there crying. He was broke apart. Little Garrison sitting there rubbing his eyes, tears flowing. At the time, Leon losing their mind because they're put in a situation where they're being told they had to move, and where we go one, we go all. And to hell with your life, to hell with everything you want. We're going to do this because it makes her feel good. Just saying. We're going to talk about this shit tomorrow, guys. We're talking about this tomorrow. I got to give some shout outs. I got to go back and look at what people have been writing. I've been going crazy. But Raspberry with the okay, let me put it up. Raspberry with the $10 super chat. Hit the likes. Dateline, please skate James to be your receipt guy. Yeah, right? The receipt guy. Receipts. Thank you so much, Raspberry. And please hit that like. I'm trying to work hard for it. I'm trying to get you guys to understand where I'm coming from, so I don't feel crazy by myself. And if you guys think I'm full of shit, please write it down in the chat. Let me know. I don't mind disagreement. Maybe I got it wrong. Maybe I'm reading it wrong. Maybe I'm looking at it the wrong way. Maybe there's stuff I don't understand. But for the longest time, I just couldn't understand why they would do it. I just didn't know why they would do it. Hollywood Deli Podcast. Okay. Check you out. $1.99 super chat. Sister Wives OG3. Let Robyn and Cody play them and their kids. And that's so true. And as Jenny and I talked about for the last few times, as we talk about Vegas. Thank you so much. Hollywood Deli Podcast. Check that out. If you guys don't know, now you know. As Jenny and I talked about, and even on Sarah and Amanda, two different groups saying the same thing. This was crazy abusive. For you to uproot your family and your kids, like, I get it. Like, don't get me wrong. If things happen and you have to move your kids, you have to move your family because you're under some kind of pressure or there's threats or you can't afford to be where you at, you got to do what you got to do, boo-boo. I understand that. I get it. Trust me, I get it. I get it. But you don't uproot, you don't pull your kids out of school halfway through the school year because you want to get your girlfriend pregnant. That shit is just bad parenting. Can we call it what it is? That's just bad parenting. If you are, Cody's such a good dad. He spends so much time with these kids. But I don't give a shit. Like, you can't rip a kid out of school, tear them away from their friends, tell them that, guys, we're going to move in 3 days, and you can't tell your friends and the people you're close to that we're leaving. I forbid it. And in addition to that, not only do I not want you to tell your friends, but Leon, even though you've been working with these folks and you made commitments to people, you abandon your commitment because I need to get my girl pregnant. Get her preggers. Come on now. Oh, what's this? Raspberry. If a mom is not allowing asses. I'm sorry. Raspberry, going to take 2. Raspberry. If a mom is not allowing access to the fridge, but is buying Tory Burch shoes, that's just messed up priorities. I agree. Because you don't have enough food. Because in tandem with Raspberry saying, you're saying that you don't have enough food to keep money to keep food on the table for the kids, but you have enough money to go out and buy designer clothes. First priority, feed your children. Ooh, Mama Squirrel coming in hot. Ooh, you guys are on fire here. Kathy Moran, Robyn was mad she had to wait to have a baby. I think she used that kid. In all honesty, Kathy, I think she used that kid as leverage because Cody wanted to have wanted her to have his baby because he was so impressed with her. Oh, that's because remember and that's what I'm saying. Like there's so much information just swirling around my head. That's why I like when they go on these little podcasts and they try to back explain their shit. It's a shame that they don't do social media anymore because they like the lies will be like because with every lie that they tell, they let a little bit of truth slip. Cody had said during the Mormonism Live podcast that he knew he was a successful polygamist because when he got with Robyn, of course I was a successful polygamist because I had 3 wives and all of a sudden I have a diesel G model. Yeah, I thought I was doing it. So he stood there pretending like because his girlfriend was so hot, he was so impressed with how she looked that he wanted to impregnate her. He wanted her to have his child. He wanted to lock her in. So part of that, if she would have said, let's move to the moon on Monday, he would have been like, where the rocket ship at? Are we taking a rocket ship or are we getting on the back of one of these cows and jumping over the moon? Like he would have did anything for her. So yeah, to get her pregnant, yeah, if she'd have said, let's go to the bourgeois, yeah, he would have did it. Flying chocolate in the house, I see you. Let's see. Yeah, Danny Towns. I don't understand how she could ever say she is for family watching these kids be traumatized. And I will add to that. I call your bid and I raise you. Not only did she watch these kids get traumatized, she participated in it. And dare I say, I suspect allegedly or whatever you say, because I have no proof of it. This is just my opinion as a fan of the show, somebody who's watching the show. It's my assessment that she was the person who masterminded a lot of the things that caused a lot of trauma in the family. Ripping these kids out of Vegas was the worst thing that could have happened to the kids, hands down. In my opinion, it's the worst thing that could have happened to the kids because it drove the family apart. If they would have been, could you imagine a world where the Brown family were put in a situation where the 19 hit COVID, COVID 19 hit in 2020, and instead of them being all broke up and separated in Arizona, had they been on that dang on cul-de-sac, they could have ran that little block. They could have ran that end of the street. And they probably still would be together. But because she wanted what she wanted, and she did what she did, she not only caused them to move to Arizona, but a lot of the things, and I'm not going to blame anybody for some of the recent tragedies that occurred to the family. I'm not going to do that. But I'm just merely saying that some of the contributing factors as to what puts people in certain situations as the places and environments that they find themselves in. Now, am I saying it's her fault? No, I'm not saying it's nobody's fault. What I am saying is that we all have to be accountable for the fact that we're taking these kids and you're traumatizing them. You're putting them up in certain situations where you're breaking them apart. You tell these kids, and this is one of the things that blows my mind has blown my mind the entire time. You tell these kids that they have to accept each other as brother and sister, that they're brothers and sisters, and even Robyn's kids from a separate marriage and separate relationship, even though they're step siblings or whatever, they're your brothers and sisters. And you work so hard to get them to accept each other as brothers and sisters. And once they do, you tell them, yeah, fuck off with that. And we're no longer brothers and sisters because we don't get along. And we're going to split them all up and put them the four corners of Arizona. And they don't understand why so many of the kids are so traumatized, why so many of the kids have hard feelings. And when we talk about them sharing money, when we talk about the baby, you're sitting there looking at, think of it like this. There was Sarah actually has pointed out, and I've pointed out as well in some of my previous videos, how crazy the rivalry was between Hunter and Robyn. When she came out and said, I'm pregnant, or she had Mary do it, Robyn's having another baby, right? And then Hunter looked like he was ready to snap out. Like Hunter looked like he was ready to cuss. Like, you know what I mean? He looked like he was ready to cut somebody's ass out. Are you freaking kidding me? Go ahead, Hunter. But you can see he was pissed, right? But Hunter wasn't the only one angry. But she took it out on Hunter and kept reminding everybody how mad Hunter was and how he didn't accept the baby and how he had walked off. But Hunter wasn't the only one mad. Leon went upstairs, cried in the bathroom because she was upset, or because they were upset. I'm sorry. Hunter was angry. But did you see Janelle's face? Janelle was sitting there saying, like, I've been putting money in handshake to come from St. George down to Lehi. I paid for that. She paid for Robyn to come down. Cody didn't pay for that. She paid for that. Cody might have used something. Oh, I showed a billboard. That was one of the things that they had said earlier. Robyn was like, Cody sold a billboard that he had been trying to sell for the longest time, and she took her tax return, and they were able to use it to move them down to Lehi. Well, guess what, mother? If you are contributing your money or your check to the mortgage, and then some months you come up short because, you couldn't sell the billboard this week, had a slow month, whatever the case may be, and you couldn't do it, right? And so Janelle picks up the slack and she covers for Cody because Cody don't have it. The minute you get flush, the minute you have two nickels to rub together, the minute you have extra, all of a sudden, that's when you decide you're going to move your girlfriend down, and you did it? No, bitch. She did it. She did it. She didn't move. You didn't move your girlfriend down and her family. Janelle moved your girlfriend down and her family to Lehi. She did that. Then she cashed in her 401k. And I don't think you understand me when I say that. She cashed in her 401k, her retirement. She financed them going from Lehi to Vegas. Then no sooner than they get in Vegas, no sooner they get in rental homes, no money coming in whatsoever. The only thing they got going for them is the TLC show and the book. That none of them have jobs. None of them got that 9 to 5. None of them got that shit. Gotta have a job if you want to be with me. They had none of that. Okay? They had none of that. And here it is. They come in like some teenagers talking about I'm pregnant. You lucky there was still food on them tables. I'd have flipped them tables. Are you crazy? You gonna put that kind of weight on me? No, sir. No, sir. Y'all better step back because these tables is going over, Jack. After I get me a plate. I'll get me a plate first, and then I'm putting all this food on the floor. Are you nuts? So yeah. And then like Janelle, she mentions that, oh well, when we were going to Vegas, all of a sudden, Hunter decides that he's going over to Christine's house because they were having like a pool party. Hunter goes over to Christine's house because he wanted to have some Christine time. He needed some truly time because he really bonds. Hunter is like all about them kids. Like he all about the brothers and sisters stuff. It's really kind of cool to see that. But I admire that about him. So he wanted to go hang out with Truly because Truly made him feel good. And I understand that the part that nobody talks about is that he might have been mad at his mom because his mom was trying to console him and make him feel better about the move and everything that was going on. But he's sitting there saying, Mom, not only did you betray me because you pulled me out of a school that I was thriving in and brought me out here to Vegas, but eventually he wound up doing well in Vegas too. But you pulled me out of that school. So not only were you a part of that, but in Janelle's house, Janelle financed it. Janelle paid for it. So he would have that extra layer of anger and dare I say resentment against Janelle because it's her fault that this is happening. So you have that. But for Robyn to go after Hunter the way she did, it was crazy. It was crazy. But I think that she went after Hunter because it was acceptable for her to go after Hunter. But how do you go after Hunter? And because if you go after Janelle and she's paying for everything and she's controlling the purse strings, then you got to be way more careful. So I think that's why she targeted Hunter. Hollywood Deli Podcast down on our super chat. The Sister Wives OG3 did not protect their kids. Robyn targeted them. I agree with that. Like, I think that was part of it. Is that's one of the heartbreaking things about it is that, we can criticize Robyn, and I know I do. I know I do. Guilty as charged. I know I go in on Robyn a lot, and I say a lot of things about Robyn, but the truth of the matter is that the adults in this situation should have stood up to her. And he should have recognized what was going on. If Cody and Robyn decided they want to run off to Vegas by themselves, you let them go. And the sad part is, had they done that, I kind of suspect that maybe the Sister Wives kind of went along with it. And this is the sad state of affairs. I think they might have went along with it because TLC very well may have supported Robyn and Cody's departure away from the OG3 and the other kids. They might have followed them out to Vegas. When they decided to move out to Vegas and start their lives, and they would have started the surviving polygamy early with Robyn and Cody, because I think that, and I know people disagree with me, but this show was supposed to be, in my opinion, this show was supposed to be about Robyn and Cody, about the two of them and their love affair and where they started. Cody, daring to venture out and finding his new love with Robyn being integrated into the family, joining the family, and how they deal with these older wives. That's what the show was supposed to be about. Now, unfortunately for them, people kind of could sympathize more with the OG3 and the OG13. So Robyn and Cody lost a lot of the luster in their relationship. They lost a lot of the luster because nobody was sitting there saying, yeah, I'm going to side with the mistress. I don't know why they thought that shit was going to work. But then again, if you don't believe me, and I know there's somebody, I got to check the comments, but I know somebody's like, no, James, that's not how it worked. They would never do that. This is the same channel that came up with MILF Manor. No further exhibits necessary. This is the same channel that came up with the idea or concept that if you take some women who are a little older and you put them in the house with their adult sons and create a dating show, that somehow that shit is going to work. These are the ideas that you're working with. These are the idea folks that you're working with. So do I think that they thought that this was going to be an idea that was going to work, putting Robyn and Cody in the house and they're a good-looking couple and and these old three women are going to be mean and nasty to her because she's young and free and they're going to be jealous and everybody's going to side with her? I'd say that mistakes were made. Mistakes were made. But I can totally see them doing that. What is this? Marlena Bryant, yeah, Robyn needed a nanny all those years so that Cody could get her pregnant, who stayed in a bedroom 24/7. Yeah, because she had the honeymoon experience. You know, he'd go there, he could play daddy for a little bit, and she didn't complain. While she was getting that nanny, was this Kathy Ferret. Of course, it's bad when it's accommodating her kids only. I agree. Oh, you'll have to recorrect that, Kathy. I got you. I got you. And for those who are going to grammar police, she did correct it later. I'll even show you. See, she corrected it. So, still your house. Put your weapons away. I hate more than Robyn wants everyone to kiss her ass. When kids were upset about pregnancy, she took it out on them. Yeah, because how dare you, children, not love and appreciate the sacrifices I made by moving down here with my kids, sucking up all your money, finances, and resources to improve my situation. How could you guys be? You're selfish. What is it? Uh-oh. Danny Towns, having just taken some, not all of my 401k recently, but to buy a house, trust me, it's a hard decision. This is why Janelle is so shocked now. I agree. But if you ever have to take money, ever have to take money out of that 401k, because there's like, for those who are not in the know, when you take money out of your 401k, when you get a 401k, technically those, depending on the program you're in, those could be pre-tax dollars, meaning that you're not paying taxes on that. So if you take money out of that 401k, you have to pay those taxes on that money. And you do get, not only do you have to pay taxes, but potentially you could have to pay a penalty, unless, of course, you're doing, like, there's some programs where you can take out like a one time or once a year, once every few years, you can take out a sum of money and not have to pay the penalty. Or you can borrow against it, in which case you may have to pay a penalty. But there's a lot of stuff tied to taking out 401k. So it's not dollar for dollar. The way it sounds like Janelle did it, it wouldn't be dollar for dollar. So if she closed her 401k out, she cashed it all in, she could have to pay. So she could start off with a good amount, especially if she had been working since the time she was 16, 17. Well, maybe, I guess she's about in her 50s. So she probably would have been, around the time they would have rolled out 401ks, that probably would have been about her 20s. So if she was in her 20s and they rolled that out and she was about 40 then, she had worked for 20 years probably pouring into this 401k. So over the course of 20 years, you have a good amount of money, even if she's put in minimal amounts of money during the course of that 20 years. Hate to tell you, for those who don't know and young folks, that little bit, those twos and fews, that shit adds up. So go ahead, put some money in that 401k. Just kick some in there just in case. So if she's putting money into that 401k, after the time that she decides that she's going to take money out and she goes to take that money out, she's going to get clobbered. She's going to get clobbered with penalties and taxes. So it's not even dollar for dollar. So say she comes out of there with $500,000, right? Which is probably not what she had. But let's say, or just say round number, $100,000. And she winds up paying like 20% or 30% of that. So now instead of you put in 100 and you now walking around with 70, 60, 70, that hurts. And then you have a person show up talking about, yeah, I just found another way to squander some more money. What are you talking about? And at this time, she's not only sitting there saying, you know, it's not just a question of the 401k paying penalties, fines, taxes, whatever the case may be. She's also having to face the fact that I have to figure out, how am I going to feed my kids and keep a roof over my kids' house, or keep a roof over my kids' heads, rather, my kids' house. I keep a roof over my house. Awesome, James. How am I going to keep a roof over my kids' heads? That's something that she would have to think about. So, yeah, that's part of the reason why, like, in this second season, going into the third season, that's why Janelle looks like she's crying all the damn time. Her eyes are bloodshot red because she's crying. Janelle is under stress. She's under a lot of stress. And there's a couple of them, like Christine. I'm going to talk about it tomorrow. Christine and Mary and Robyn. Robyn's cool because she's getting the house that she wants. She's getting the house the way she wants, how she wants, when she wants. She's got this big, huge house, which is another thing. They all moved out to Vegas, right? And you would think that if I was on a run from Vegas, this is why, again, the story doesn't make sense. If I'm on a run to Vegas and I'm running my way out there, why would I rent a big 2,000-3,000 square foot house for one family? So you have three people who are probably living in like a 2,000. I think the house Mary was in was probably about 2,000 square feet, right? You're living in a house that's bigger than the average home that most Americans live in with two people, but you on the run and you don't have a job. What would have made sense was you leave the big vacation home. You know, if you really running from the law, you leave the big vacation home, you split up into pairs. Christine, according to this book, this is during the time, according to the book, Christine said she was willing to move in with Janelle. So you have the two of them move in. That's the two adults plus a majority of the kids living under one roof. 14 kids, 12 kids, all under one roof, plus the two adults. Then on the other side, you have Mary and Robyn, who are supposed to be such good friends because, you know, when Mary first saw her, she wanted to bring her into the family because she realized she was going to be the sister wife for their ages and they were going to be bestest friends. Right? So the two of them could have moved in with each other. Instead of them getting four separate houses, you get two households. I mean, that's still a lot, but it makes sense to me. And that way you could save some of the money that Janelle pulled out of the bank, which is a finite amount. Because once you go through the 401k money, it's gone. It's gone. And even talking about the TLC show, there was no guarantee that this show was going to keep going. Let's keep it all the way at stack. There was no guarantee. TLC go through shows. Hell, ask Brady from My Five Wives. Me and Jenny talk about that show frequently on the Sunday nights. Brady on My Five Wives had 2 seasons. This is their second season. They wrote this book and they moved out to Vegas. You could have moved your ass out to Vegas and they cut the show and your popularity, fame, and everything else goes away and you have to move back. This is also part of the reason why, and this I thought about this too. This is also part of the reason why even in season 18, if you remember Cody, or season 17, I think it was, Cody was standing in Mary's house telling her that she needs to work with the contractor because they want to sell the Lehi house. Remember that? That's why they held on the Lehi house for so long, because they might have to go back to it. They moved out. They didn't move out to Vegas because they was afraid of the law. First thing you do is sell the damn house. I don't have no ties, because if you're going to take the rule that, oh, we moved away, so therefore we shouldn't be arrested, you would say we sold that house, and because I don't want to have nothing to do with Lehi. I don't have nothing to do with y'all. So I'm proving to you that I'm not coming back. You can't run away from a jurisdiction and keep property in your name. The house you used to live in, you keep that in your name and say, well, I moved away. Because if you have the house in your name and you're renting houses, then you can move the hell back. They want to know that you're not coming back before they start dropping charges. Again, they're full of shit. This doesn't make any sense. That whole thing that they talk about don't make no sense. That storyline doesn't make any sense. Let me read some of these. Spoiled artist. And Hunter was one of the first to hold Saul and love on him when he came into the world. Yeah, because Hunter is that dude, man. He's going to be something else as a dad, I think. I think he's going to be outstanding. Okay, spoiled artist. Danny Towns. I've said it before and I will say it again. Robyn got the right ones because shake my head. Wouldn't have been me. I'm with you. I'm telling you. If James' own sister was, if this show was called Brother Husbands, let's just say this show would have been different. Oh, it would have ended different, way different. When to move to Vegas, unless I wanted to go to Vegas, and we damn sure would move to Vegas, pulling my kids out of school. If you want to pull your kids out of school, I can't stop you. You can, all she had to do was stop paying the rent. Just tell them, because it's probably on a month-to-month over there at the house around the corner from the Lehi house, the big house. All she had to do was stop paying the rent and pack her stuff up, because that's what makes the most sense to me, because she hadn't even been there a whole year. So I don't think it was a yearly lease that they had. It was probably a month-to-month lease that they had on the house that Robyn was renting. Just saying. That's my suspect. That's what I suspect. She just, if you want to leave, you just stop paying the rent. We'll stop paying your rent. Pack your stuff. You could put it in a U-Haul. You could drive out to Vegas. Cody can go out there, knock you up in Vegas, and bring his ass on home. And we'll see you in the summer. If I would have went to Vegas. I don't know if I would have, I don't know. I don't want to judge them too much on their decisions like that, as far as that go, but it's just kind of like, yeah, I don't know. Like, you respect people who respect you. That's what I say. If you don't respect me, it's hard for me to sit up there and make those kind of sacrifices for you. And you showing me that you don't give a damn about my kids and what they got going on. And by you not showing respect to my kids, you disrespected me. So I don't know how this is going to work. Like, that's where I would be at. Like, I don't know how these women did that. Like, if you're not going to respect my kids, I got to sit and watch my kids cry and tell them they got to keep a secret. They're going to have to move, and they're going to have to abandon their lives because it's going to make this person and her kids feel better. Shit. Oh, you got the wrong one. You got the wrong one today, Chief. I might have went to the meeting to hear them say it. Okay. If I had that situation, I would go to the meeting. I would listen to you say it, because I wouldn't want to believe that you would do it. But once you did it, you done it, because that we could. Thank you very much. See you later. I think also the kids were just scared of being chased by the police. It would be hard to understand why Cody and Robyn would want to bring another child into this mess. If Cody could really be arrested, I don't think he could be arrested. I can appreciate that, Spooky Micah. But I hope I said your name right. But I'm sorry, I just got caught. Kathy Ferreira was reading that thing. I don't think that they were concerned about going to jail. And the reason I don't think they were concerned about going to jail, not for real, because of a couple of things. The Utah Lehi police might have done an investigation, but as I talked about before, and even the district attorney from Lehi department, Lehi's district attorney had said at the time, the U-Haul district attorney actually had said, even the attorney general had said, that they don't prosecute polygamy unless it's connected to another crime. Unless it's connected to another crime. What does that mean? So if they have like a fraud, they have like a wire fraud, or like that's messing around with bank stuff, or you have stealing welfare or social program fraud, like the Section 8 food stamps, CHIP, or SNAP, not food stamps, SNAP, whatever the case may be. If you're doing that, then they'll throw that on as an additional charge. But the example I cited before was you had entire communities that are well-known polygamous communities. For instance, you have the Kingston group, which existed in Utah. They marry their damn cousins, okay? Underage cousins. You have who's the guy they kept talking about? Every time you turn around, they would say his damn name. Every time I forget his name too. I want to call him Webb, but that's not his name. His name is what is his name? It's the Warren Jeffs. Yeah, the Warren Jeffs group. They knew about them. They've been operating for years, like decades. They've been there. 100, this dude had like 40 some odd damn wives. They know that there's polygamists there. So it's not this quiet, like, oh, we're gonna reveal that we polygamists. Like, that's not, you know what I mean? I don't think they were afraid. I think there were concerns, because they were out in the open. So yeah, there might have been some talks, there might have been some investigation. The cops are going to look at you, but that should have all been taken into account too. Like you you know, selling marijuana, Mary Jane, the dandelion fever, whatever you call it, the devil's weed. You know, that's all. That's a thing where it's legalized in some places now, supposedly, right? Not federally, but on a state level, a lot of states are legalizing it. If you come out and say you're doing that before, there's some places that they're not going to chase you around to get you. But if you come out and you come out the wrong way, you might get looked at. And you should understand that you're going to get looked at. I might have just got this video demonetized. I don't know. We'll see what YouTube say. But you feel what I'm saying. So I'm kind of suspect that they weren't concerned. And especially if Cody was concerned about being arrested, I think he would have moved a lot different. And even with the well, he gonna split our family up and we ain't never gonna talk again. That works in the olden days. And by the olden days, I mean maybe up until about 1994. Anything after 94, with the innovation of cell phones, the innovation of social media, you know how difficult it would be for you to split a family up that wants to stay in contact with each other? You know how difficult that would be? You know what I mean? Like, especially kids. Like, I can see them saying, like, as the adults. And Cody would have been arrested, but so would the wives. Technically, the wives could be arrested too. That's if they really wanted to push it, they really wanted to set an example, you would lock them up as well. Because even if you said, well, he would be guilty of, because I don't even know what you would really charge him, because technically he's not. He presents himself as being their husband, but legally he's only Mary's husband, especially at this time. So, yeah, and even if you said like, okay, well, he presents himself as a polygamous family, they would be guilty of the same thing, because even though they wouldn't be the first movers in the sense that they aren't the husband claiming many wives, they would be at minimum they co-conspirators. So if you really wanted to go crazy on the charging, I mean, I guess you could charge them, but it would be such a waste of money. And especially at the time, if you look at especially what happened over the next couple years, because in what 4 or 5 short years, 3, 4 short years, all of a sudden you had polygamists who thought that their political powers was so strong that they could run for state office. They could run for a public office. The one guy that they were hanging around with, he ran for office. He ran for mayor. Damn, my mind is slipping. I should have ate before I got on here. What is that brother's name? The bald head dude with the two he has 2 sisters that he's married to and their cousin. Somebody's gonna write it in. If you guys remember who it is, I don't want to look it up. Oh, Joe Darker. There you go. Thank you, Raspberry. Joe Darker. Joe Darker ran for mayor. And he's an open polygamist. Like he's a polygamist. Like he's like the Malcolm X of polygamy. I didn't hit Plymouth Rock. Plymouth Rock landed on us. You're being bamboozled. Joe Darker is he's an open polygamist, and he ran for public office. So they're not scared. They're not scared of prosecution because they're not being prosecuted like that. And like as far as like them coming in taking your kids, they weren't even taking Warren Jeff and them kids. The damn the Kingston's, they still got their kids. There's no way. I just don't see a world in which they gonna decide they going down getting the Brown kids, and you got like, how you gonna come over to my house because my grass is overgrown and I'm living next door to the Manson family? Like, what the shit? Like, your priorities is jacked up. I'd have told that DA, you coming about that job, Jack. Because this is crazy. Yeah, people would tell me about Warren Jeffs. That's what I'm saying. Here you go. And her mom, Kingston's married their sisters, nieces, cousins. They never marry anybody. Everybody can get it. You can't even go to a family reunion and get safe, Jack. Like, it's jacked up. Like, they show up to the house, the fish stop swimming. Shit. I'm sorry, I'm just going crazy. I'm doing all this French. Some people might be offended. I apologize. Oh, look at this. Regina and Maxie. I think you're right. I think Texas arrested them. Like, you didn't get arrested. You get arrested in Utah. You got arrested in Texas. And that's the one that they kept saying. Every time you turn around, Cody and the wives would get up there and like, we're not like Warren Jeffs. We're not like a Warren Jeffs. Jeffs is a terrible guy. We're different. So, I mean, there is a difference. Like, I might say a lot of stuff about Cody, but Cody is not no damn Warren Jeffs. You know what I mean? He is not Warren Jeffs. He's a lot of things, but he's not that. You know, at least not that I know. I can't prove that he is, or he is. I have no evidence to demonstrate that he is. I say it that way. Hey, Morris, I can't wait to see what happens in Kotex when the show ends and when Robyn leaves when the money is all gone. She ain't gonna leave when the money's gone. She gonna take the money. She already threatened when she took money out of the family pot. Yeah. And he started bitching about it. She told him she bankrupt that whole family. That's what I'm saying. She ain't gonna wait. See, people got it twisted. Robyn is not waiting for the money to be gone, Jay. No. Robyn is taking the money. When the money start coming up short, that money better, like, it, you know, they say like in like aquariums, if you ever have like a fish aquarium or in like sea, you'll see like there's people have like fish and stuff, and they be like, as soon as like a school of fish, especially the aggressive ones. So like if you have like a piranha, any kind of cichlids or anything like that, any type of fish that'll eat other fish. As soon as one of the mothers start looking sick, that's your ass. You can't even cough around them. And then all of a sudden they start looking at you funny. That's it. And that's how Robyn's gonna be with that brown bank account, Jack. That bank account start hachoo. That's it. Robyn gonna clean their asses out. And I hate to be the one to tell you. That's why the smartest thing, like, and I, you know, I know we give Christine a lot of credit, but the smartest thing she could have did was when she got her money, she said that Coyote Pass stuff, you can take that land and shove it. I don't want no parts of it. Okay? Because you get your money all wrapped up with them, she will drive you crazy. And the person I feel the worst for is Janelle in that particular situation, because she will take her down. Like, she'll take Janelle down. If you guys, okay, let me just make sure I got that. All right. I'm gonna put in. Let me see if I can find it. I'm gonna put in the thing. If you guys want to come up, like, especially got some folks in there who got their own channels or whatever. If you guys want to come up, just hit me. I'm gonna drop the link in the chat. I'm gonna drop the link in the chat. Hold on, guys. Let me. Hold on, guys. All right. Actually, I got a different way to get it. Let me see. I'm gonna go to I'm gonna go in here and see, because Jenny might have got a little tied up, which is cool, you know. So I love when she comes through, but if she got things to do, I understand that too. There we go. All right, we are back in the house. We back in it. We back in it. Oh, I'm back. Don't worry, Regina, Moxie. I'm putting that link in the chat. There you go. All right. You guys want to come in? Just hit that link. You'll pop up in my box, and I'll let you on. All right. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. All right. What's this? Oh, you've been challenged, flying chunklet. Introduce the challenge. Get on the Danny. We want to hear what you have to say. Come on up. My uncle had $20,000 sewn in the lining of a coat. His kids had given away a bunch of his clothes. Oh wow. Damn, Becky, damn, Sam. My uncle had 20,000 sewn in the lining of a coat. His kids had given away a bunch of his clothes. They wonder how much money they gave away. Oh man, you know, somebody went to the thrift store and was like, I'm gonna pop some tags. Oh God, $20 in my pocket. What's this? $1,000? This is freaking awesome. Damn, Sam. Woo. What's going on, Johnny? How you doing? What's up? If you guys want to come up, just hit that link. I'll drop it one more time. Drop it again. You can be my friend when I drop it again. I know Randy Thompson. That's a damn piece. They were sick. Oh yeah, Becky. I know every time they ride by every time they ride by the Salvation Army, they be ready to throw down, Jack. They be like, I'm ready to catch a case. They be out there on Christmas ringing that bell. They be like, I'm ready to whip somebody's ass. Would you like to put some money in the bucket? I gave you enough, sucker. Oh man. Story time. I'm gonna tell the story. There was a time, and then I'll get back to the book. I'm sorry. I'm about to go crazy. But there was a time when I was a young kid, me and my brother, we had shit tons of toys. Now, the thing is, we had a lot of toys. We collecting action figures and things of that nature. We didn't have nothing crazy like the bases or none of that good stuff. It was like $100, $200. But we had a lot of vehicles. We had a lot of the action figures, right? And my dad, keep in mind too, we took care of our stuff. Me and my brother, we took care of our stuff. So we had all the pieces to all the toys that we had. So like all the little attachments and all that stuff. We had all that stuff. We didn't tear our stuff up because, you know, quite frankly, you learn to take care of your stuff. Because if you tore your shit up, and you know, my house, if the stuff got broke, your stuff just broke. So we took care of our stuff. My dad was cleaning out. We you know, when we got older, he went back and he was cleaning out the basement. That's where we used to play it. We had a bunch of stuff set up in the basement, toy boxes and stuff. He took them toy boxes, took them out, put them by the fence, threw them away, threw all them toys away. Yeah, a few years later, my mom, before she passed, she used to tell that story all the time. My dad would get sad at the motherfucker, part of my friend. Oh, the hell with it. I'm gonna say it. He got sad as hell, Jay. To this day, you can't talk about toys to him because those toys that he threw away, the toys that we played with, and when he found out what them shits was worth, you can't even say. You can't say G.I. Joe to my father. You can't say Master of the Universe. You can't say Transformers. You can't say none of that. So we had toys that I don't even think they make them anymore. Like we had toys that were worth a lot of money. I don't even like thinking about it too much. But yeah, when he did that, oh, you can't even say toys. So yeah, I feel you, Becky. I feel you. I mean, that's how people turn into hoarders. They do some shit like that. They don't want to throw nothing away. Like my dad still throws stuff away, but he checks now. He'll check 3 times before he throw anything out. $20,000 bills. And Becky, that's enough. That's enough. It was only 20,000. There's people sitting in prison for fucking There's people sitting in prison for a couple $100. There's people ain't never getting out of jail because they tried to steal a couple $100. They gave away. They found 20,000. So they can only imagine, like you said, like your mind be racing. You know, he ain't never buy no new clothes. He never went on vacation. You know, he had that job for like 60 years, and he ain't never had nothing elaborate. He saved every nickel. So you think you threw away $20 million? Oh man. Let me just check, make sure I don't have anybody trying to get in. Okay. All right. Oh, Whack It Peggy. I had the original Barbie. Oh, damn. Woo. That thing would be worth, I don't even know how much the original would be. Let's look that shit up. Oh, that's like saying I had Superman Action Comics #1. I had Action Comics #1. You know, the first Superman. It's probably not worth anything. I used it. I was moving. I used it to wrap my plates. Like, oh wow, Raspberry. Okay, Raspberry. I see what you did there. That knowing is half the battle. G.I. Joe. That's they used to sing at the end of the show. Yeah, right. I would say that to my dad, but he might knock me out. Might knock some teeth loose. Don't you be talking about G.I. Joe, sucker? Yeah, the day is my dad's birthday. So happy birthday, Dad. I talked to him earlier. We're going out to dinner this week. Yeah. He's one of the young guys. But yeah, back to this sister wife foolishness. Oh, I had more than Barbies are worth money. I had a few of the $1,500 dolls. Yeah. Barbies, like I said, Barbies are no joke. Cabbage Patch dolls, they serious. You can go into it. You know, you can go into it. Like a lot of them old toys and stuff, because people didn't really collect them like they collect toys now. So the toys now, they probably won't be worth as much. But back in the day, people did like what my dad did. They took the shit and like, oh, your kids are old enough, you know, too old for toys. Take them and put them by the fence. Yeah, we had I had a couple Tonka trucks that were worth like crazy money. Because it's back, you know, Tonka trucks was made of steel. Oh, thank you, Danny. Appreciate that. Happy birthday to my daddy. Thank you. Mama Squirrel as well. So I had the G.I. Joe light break and I had no idea why. Gee, that Joe probably worth money too. Because the crazy stuff, like the stuff that you wouldn't expect to be worth money, is worth all that money. Like it's crazy. Thank you, Christy. Lizzie B, thank you. Appreciate all the well wishes. Oh wow. I hate Morning says she had a Dukes of Hazzard lunchbox with a thermos. That shit could be on Antique Roadshow. You're like, you got the thing and the thermos, and it ain't cracked. Shit. Part of my friend, I'm just cussing like crazy tonight. Man. All right, so let's talk about this becoming sister wives. And one of the funniest things to me is in this book. Wow, the screen just went crazy, didn't it? In this book, it talks about like you know, since moving to Nevada, things have changed a lot for us and made us more of a team. We all had to contribute to the expenses to relocate our family, which was difficult for each of us. But now that we have a television show, we are essentially working together as a family on a daily basis, and we are a team financially. We split all of our money evenly and help each other out. This has unified us, and even out any sense of financial inferiority or instability any of us may have previously had previously. We are all equal. This shit is giving me a headache. Yeah, they talk about, like, she talks about going to like school events and things like that because, now we have all this extra money. We can go do financial fun things with the kids, and we have open time and free time. One of my favorite things is like they talk about how she got to go away with Cody, and they got to go to because she went away with Cody. One of the other sister wives stepped in and went to Dayton's activity at school. Oh, when he graduated from elementary school, she didn't give a shit about him graduating from elementary school because she was going to spend some special time with Cody. So she had to get her coat time in. Yeah, one of the weirdest things is, like, they always try to do, like, one of the benefits of being together as a family is we get to spend time together and cover each other's backs. That's cool. So, I mean, I get that. And again, that's part of the polygamy propaganda program. But how much time could you really spend with each other when you're miles apart and you're living in separate homes? Like his baby mamas. Like Cody just happened to have a situation where he lived around the corner from his baby mama, which is, it is what it is. Yeah, it's just like this chapter, like I said, it doesn't really talk about anything specific. It talks about, like, oh, we get to be around for each other's kids because we got the TV show, and that gives us a lot more free time. Talk about birthdays, for the specialty of birthdays, you get a specialty dinner. And sometimes, like Gabe, he asked, he likes Mary's mashed potatoes, so he asked for Mary's mashed potatoes. And sometimes the kids ask for something for me to make and all that. So I thought that was kind of weird. I mean, it is what it is. It's not even weird. It's just, it doesn't mean anything. So this chapter really doesn't go anywhere. And shit, only rule I have is that the kids come over, they can't interfere with schoolwork. Okay, nobody lets the kids' schoolwork be interfered with. In fact, the other kids should be doing their schoolwork. So that's kind of weird. The one thing I will say that I felt was interesting was when they talk about parenting other people's kids and her approach to that. This is something that was covered under this. Yeah, hard to listen to Robyn's BS. I agree with you, MJC. This is one of the things that was covered that I thought was always interesting with the other wives, because they say, like, we're all one united family and we're all great and we're all one single family, but then at the same time, my kids are my kids, your kids are your kids. And each one of them had pretty much the same thing to say, that with the OG3, there was a lot more cross parenting between those families. So they could correct and talk to each other's kids when necessary. But Robyn had this to say, and I thought this was interesting. She said, the only time that I will assert myself with children who are not my own is when there aren't other parents around. Without other moms present, I'm comfortable correcting other children's behavior and enforcing my own rules. However, I tend not to do any child rearing with the other children, especially if other moms are present. I don't feel that it is my place to interfere with how someone else raises her children. For this reason, I haven't had a lot of child rearing conflicts with my sister wives. I thought that was funny. I don't get involved with their kids, so therefore we don't have any problem as far as child rearing. But I'm going to raise my kids how I choose to raise my kids, because that's how I choose to do it. And when she says that, it always strikes me that I don't interfere with their kids so we don't butt heads. But what it also says is my expectation is that they don't try to rear my kids. So it's not just a one-way street where she's saying like, I don't talk to their kids unless they're not around and there's something dangerous going on. She's basically saying, as a rule, we don't correct each other's children. And that's what I got from that particular passage. She goes on to say, despite the fact that all the parenting styles are different, each sister wife has the best interest of the kids at heart. I'm more prone to talking things out. I want to learn about the kids' feelings and try to understand why they are acting out in a certain way before punishing them for their behavior. Now, I think that in and of itself is a shot. There's a shot there, because what she's saying is that I don't come in half cocked and start punishing kids or whatever the case may be. I try to find out what information they have, why they did what they did wrong, et cetera, and try to explain to them what they did wrong before I try to issue any punishment. That's just basic parenting. I'm not even going to say that's good parenting. That's just basic. Like, I'm not going to come in and just start cleaning house. Before I even know what's wrong, I'm just going to come in and just start putting hands on people. Like, that'd be ridiculous. That's not that's abusive. That's not, like, you aren't being a parent, you're being a perpetrator. You're a perpetrator of a crime. That's what that is. Okay. So when she says that, she says, if she comes in, she likes to find out all the information essentially before she starts trying to punish anybody. I know that I am overprotective and overly gentle. I stand up for the underdog, for example. So Robyn always has a way of trying to paint herself as the victim or as the hero, depending on the circumstances of the situation, but it always is in her advantage and puts her in the best light. The one thing that I will say about that is that, to me, it always makes more sense if you paint yourself, if you don't paint yourself that way and you allow others to do it for you. So if Christine, Mary, or Janelle would have said this about Robyn, it would mean a lot more than for Robyn to say it about herself. That's just my two on the situation. So it's kind of like, I'm such a gentle soul and I'm the avenger of the underprotected and all that. Like, if you are, that's what you are and that's what you believe, then you maybe will say something along those lines to make a point or to edge an argument or part of the discussion as your contribution to a discussion or conversation. But you wouldn't say that like, I am the defender of the unbeat down and the stomped upon. Those who are treaded upon will be avenged by me. Shira, like, you know what I mean? It's just too much. It's weird. And that's where I think Robyn catches a lot of flack because she does things like that. For example, McKelty, Christine's second oldest daughter, is a very unique girl. She doesn't fit in well with the three other girls, or the three older teen girls. She is creative and independent, so she gets razzled a lot. She gets razzed a lot. Okay. I have a tendency to stand up for her and see the best in her. She would do something great someday with her out of the box thinking. And that is a way for you to get on the inside with people. It's just weird to me. Like, you're defending people. If you're going to defend somebody, defend them and let that be that. You don't have to get in the book and start hollering name out, be like, yeah, she's a weirdo and she's weird today, but tomorrow she's going to be Steve Jobs. Like, you don't have to do that. You don't have to call her out. Like, I noticed that some kids might not get along with as well with other kids. I defend those kids because I feel that their voices have just as much depth and breadth as everybody else, and they deserve to be heard. And leave it at that. If that's what you believe, that's what you should stand on. But you don't have to holler out instances. Like, I get the example, but I don't necessarily appreciate the example. But it also explains why McKelty felt like she was closer to Robyn. Someone said Dakota, Regina Maxey, Dakota edited the book. I want to see a new book since the Three Wives. Like, who are you telling? That one's gonna be fire. Meaning she will give no structure. Spy daughter number 3. Oh wow. Yep. Then was this Teresa Skinner? Robyn basically needed help with a nanny, sister, or niece to help her with her kids because she couldn't handle them. I I don't think she disciplined them. I think she made veiled or empty threat. Yeah, veiled or empty threats was this. Yeah, veiled or empty threats don't work on kids. I agree with that. Yeah, the worst thing you do is promise your kids something and don't fulfill it or follow through with it. That's why they don't come out with crazy stuff out your mouth about how you gonna do this, that, and the other, and you have no intention of doing none of that. Because once once the blood is in the water and the kids realize that there's a weakness, they will exploit that weakness. You will not survive. Oh, and then she writes, I don't tolerate bullying and harassment from any of the kids. Even minor teasing is off limits. I want all the children to be nice to one another, always. For this reason, I prefer a calmer, more peaceful home environment. I try to bring a sense of respect to every family gathering and every situation in which I'm dealing with a group of kids. I expect the kids to be responsible and considerate. So I try to lead by example. Here's the thing. I get what she's saying. But didn't you just say that you don't get involved with other people's kids? Didn't you just say that when it comes time for you to discipline other people's kids, you keep your damn mouth shut? Didn't you say that? What happened? Now all of a sudden, you Joe Equalizer. You ran better. You up there trying to figure out what you gonna do and how you gonna do it. How you gonna force these kids to respect one another? You will respect each other. What happened? What happened? This is why you need an editor. 1, 2, this is why people don't like Robyn. Like this yet again, this is a clear example of why you just got finished saying out of your mouth one thing, and then it's not even a page later. You're saying the exact opposite. I don't like to get involved or tell my sister wives' kids what to do. Those aren't my kids. I stay up out that business. I mind my own business. Pay attention to my twos and fews right in front of my face. Then she turns around right in the next breath and says, oh, yeah, by the way, while I'm telling other kids what to do. So what I get from that is your expectation is nobody gets to correct your kids. Nobody gets to tell your kids anything, but you get to tell other people's kids stuff. This is actually one of the cases, speaking of which, this is one of the cases like under my my new channel, My Take on Family Court. One of the cases I have is about exactly that. Is a guy who has a son, and his son is driving this truck super obnoxious down the street. Like he's ripping and racing. He's driving his car all crazy and stuff, annoying the neighbors. The neighbors say something to him, and then the father comes out. He's defending his son. Forget you, bro. You don't talk to my child that way. He would never do that. We got him on tape, jackass. Well, he only did it that one time. I don't think that's the way he drives. We have him on tape, jackass. Right? So I'll be talking about that. But one of the things that annoys the hell out of me, don't be the type of parent who insists that you want this community experience. You want everybody to chip in because it takes a village to raise a child and all this great stuff. And then when the neighbors come out and say, hey, little Johnny is fucking up, you sit there, look them neighbors in the face and say, you're a damn lie, because Johnny is the greatest thing since sliced bread. He is cut from heaven. He would never do that. I'm telling you, lady, little Johnny is messing up. I watched it with my own two eyes. This ain't something I heard or suppose. This ain't something I'm guessing. I watched him do it. He would never do that. Why are you saying that about Johnny? Johnny is a good boy. I hate that shit. And then as soon as you go and try to correct it yourself, or you do something else, you say something, who are you to be talking to him? You leave him alone. If you had something to say, you should have came and talked to me about it first. I hate that shit. I hate that. You know what I mean? Don't tell me in one breath you want me to come talk to you, but then when I come and talk to you about something that your kid is doing, all of a sudden you trying to be defensive and you don't want to hear about what it is. Then it is what it is. Okay? This particular case I'm thinking about, and I take that position because this particular case I'm thinking about, which I will be talking about on my channel, my take on family court. One of the things that they have going on is the son does something crazy. He drives up and down the street, revving his motor all crazy, giving this lady the finger or whatever out the car, cussing her, and he drives down the street, parks his truck, and walks back down the block. Now, I'm a grown-ass man, Doc. Been a grown-ass man for a long time. And I'm telling you, as a grown-ass man, my warning to anybody in this situation, give you a little preview of what I would say, and this is what I'm thinking about when it comes to Robyn and how she's approaching these kids, is when you put yourself in an adult situation and you cussing and putting your finger up to somebody, that could be somebody's wife, that could be somebody's mama, and you do that and you come walking your ass down the street, there could be smoke in the city, Jack. You might get something like you think you dealing with one person, you get your behind down there and you find out you dealing with a whole nother thing. Okay? Because, that woman might have had her husband come out of there and confront your son, in which case he's not coming down the street to talk to you. Things are going to happen, right? Or he got a son. Because, I especially in my 20s, 20 and below, if my mother passed away, God rest her soul. But if she ever would have called me up and tell me that one kid on the block had cussed her or called her out her name, that's all I'm going to say about that there. But in this particular shit, I'm getting bad thinking about it. But this ain't even real. This is just a hypothetical. Got my blood up. You know what I mean? My blood pressure high as hell now. Blood pressure high as hell. But in this particular case, you set it up that you want to talk to other people's kids, but the second somebody says something to your kid, when you talking to somebody else's kid, you disciplining their kid, then it's open season. Then it is what it is. This is what we do. This is our relationship. You talk to my kid, I get to talk to your kid. My kid doing something that they shouldn't be doing. I don't have no problem with you correcting my kid, telling them they shouldn't be doing, because they got to learn consequences, But what you're not going to do is be sitting there cussing and yelling and hollering at my kid, and I'm watching your kid mess up, and you try to pull me aside talking about I need to come talk to you. Then, okay, now I see what the situation is. You leave my kid alone. Because you're not going to beat them down trying to make them subservient to your kid. And as soon as they start defending themselves, they bullying. Because that's one of the things that you got to notice too, is that sometimes you have one kid, because their mom is overprotective, or what did she say, overly gentle or whatever the hell she said. And her mom is that way and they protect them. And they get to say and do whatever they want to do. And the second they can offend your kid, they can call your kid all kinds of names, they can push and shove your kid, whatever. But the second your kid starts to defend themselves or say something back, then all of a sudden it's bullying. Then all of a sudden it's a problem. Then all of a sudden, your kid is some kind of heathen and raised wrong, and what's going on with this child, and you need to fix it, and why he can't be doing this to my son. And all I would say about that, and even with the situation I was talking about in the family court that I'm going to talk about, all I'm saying is, when it comes to stuff like that, you got to understand that when it comes to your child doing the wrong thing, you love your child. You love your child as you should. You love your child as you should. But the world don't owe your kid nothing. Okay? And I said about that kid walking down the street. Like, the father's willing to make excuses and come up with all these reasons as to why his son is okay for his son to cuss out this lady. But these people ain't going to cut him the same type of break. His brakes stop at his front door. And so if that's how she wants to raise her kids, that her kids, don't get talked to, then you shouldn't be talking to nobody else's kids. If it's off the table, it's off the table. That's the way I see it. We only have a couple more things, guys. I'm sorry to drag this out on you. Somebody there with some firecrackers. And 4th of July. Between the drinking and the firecrackers, that's when the emergency room is full. I posted something on Facebook about that little firework display. Dad saying, I got this. I know how to do fireworks. Set the fireworks off in the street. Missiles start shooting up into the family. Then they hit the fireworks. Then for some reason, they put under the car. They put right behind the car next to the gas tank. Fireworks hit the damn other fireworks is next to the car near the gas tank. Them shit start blowing up. I think he blew his car up. So yeah, America, America's birthday, we try to blow up our little piece of it every holiday. That's how we commemorate it. But yeah, the one interesting thing that they talked about, I think that she touched on, was her talking about she ran into a little bit of trouble. This is Robyn. I ran into a little bit of trouble. I ran into a few issues with my position as a parent with some of the other kids when I first came into the family. I don't think they were ready to accept me as a mom. It was strange for them to all of a sudden have someone new parent them without any history. We have all had issues with some of the kids because of this. I think every blended family deals with similar problems. I thought at first that my sister wives would just insist that their kids look at me as a mom. But I realized that it's up to me to claim that role. I have actually had to reach out to the kids and build a relationship with them independent of their biological moms. Respect is earned, not demanded. My parental relationships are getting better and better with time. It's still a work in progress. I would say this, and I think I'm going to end on that. Yeah, I'm gonna end on this, or at least for the book, as far as the book is concerned. When it comes to blended family, bonus moms, bonus dads, step parents, etc., etc., etc. Yes, it is 100% on the step parent to build a relationship with that child. It's not enough for a parent to say, you have to respect this person. In order for you to be respected, you have to be worthy of said respect, period. This is something that, Cody, I don't care about the love if I don't have respect. Men care about respect. We don't care about love. If I don't have the love, I don't have respect. You keep the love. Remember that shit? Look, I'm going to tell you like this. In order for you to get respect, you have to deserve respect. You have to deserve to be respected. You don't demand respect. You command respect. That's what my mom told me when I was a little kid. You don't demand respect, you command respect. You have to be worthy of people's respect. You have to build a relationship, and respect is given, is not really respect. You might fear somebody. You might be scared of somebody. You might be trying to manipulate somebody because you want them to like you. But that's not respect. If you want to be respected as a parent, you have to act in the capacity of a parent. And part of that, to be honest with you, goes back to what we were talking about earlier. You have to demonstrate that you are putting them first when it comes to decision making, or you're at least considering them when it comes to decision making. It's hard for me to respect you if everything that you do has to deal with you and very seldom takes me into consideration. It's hard for me to respect you as a parent. If I'm sitting here watching you destroy my life and my livelihood, for these kids, yeah, I mean, they're only teenagers. They don't really have a whole lot going on. It doesn't matter what they have going on. Here's the thing. For them, it might be, oh, he's only 15 years old. He's only 12 or 13 years old. So he has a whole bunch of life ahead of him. He doesn't realize that this isn't no big deal. But for that 12 or 13-year-old, do you realize that they spent their entire lives getting themselves to this point? They are so young. Because they're so young, you don't take them serious, but they're so young. They're young enough to where this has been a majority of their life, getting themselves in a position to where they can enjoy the fruits of this particular position. Thinking back to Maddie, who sat there and said, when we moved from Lehi, we were going to be legends in this town. This is the year we were going to be legends. She spent her whole life to get to this point, and you're telling her it doesn't matter because I want to go to Vegas and knock my girlfriend up. I don't understand why you don't respect me as a parent. I don't know. And as far as like you coming into the family and all of a sudden you have a bunch of older kids, especially older kids, and you demand that they treat you like the younger ones would, that makes no sense. That makes zero sense. Okay? They are older, and you have to treat them with that same level of respect. You might not be able to come in there and start ordering them about and telling them things because they've already passed their formidable years, their formative years. Okay? Typically, in the development of children, at least in my experience, what I've noticed is that from the time that a child is born to the time a child is like 5, 6 years old, that's when you're really trying to teach and shape personality. By the time they hit 6, 7 years old, you're trying to refine that. And then by the time they're teenagers, the only thing you're trying to do is keep their ass out of jail and keep them from getting pregnant. Now, I mean, look, the only thing you're really trying to do is they are who they're going to be. Okay? And you're just trying to refine and knock off the edges. You're trying to instruct them. You're trying to teach them different ways to think. You're trying to show them that they have choices in their thinking. But you're not sitting there trying to treat them like they're 4 and 5 years old because they won't respect you if that's what you're doing. You have to address them where they are. You have to meet them where they are. If they're young adults at that point, they're young people, young men, young women, right? They're not babies anymore. They're teenagers. Hell, technically, and I'm sitting up here saying that as a person who's a monogamous on the outside. I don't come from a culture where we get married at 15, 16 years old, and I expect them to start having babies and make a family. I don't come from that kind of culture. But even at 15, 16 years old, I realize that they're old enough to where they have to be able to formulate their own minds. They're fighting for a time where they're actually coming into their adulthood. So they're going to address the world that way. So you coming in as an authority figure, you're challenging their progression and their development. So yeah, you're going to bump heads more than you need to. And if their mom is present, if their dad is present, I don't understand why it's so pertinent that you are establishing yourself as mom or dad unnecessarily. They have their parents. Now you could be the cool ass friend. You could be the cool adult who's giving them advice or giving them a different perspective, which is always amazing. You give them additional love, which is always amazing. But you don't have to go in there and try to replace anybody or try to fill spots because those spots are already filled. You have to let kids open themselves up so that you can formulate relationships. This is where it gets creepy with the way so I don't want to holler too many kids out in their development, but with some of the ways that some things I've seen on the show with how people assert themselves into particular relationships, it gets weird for me because there's a point where there's a demanding that you accept the situation and you're going to, and I get to do what I want to do and you have to accept it. When she comes into the family, Robyn's coming into the family and she's a mom now and you're going to respect her as such and she's a mother. Like, that's not how you get kids to appreciate those parents. Hell, if you are a natural father, if you're a biological father, and I'm just using this as an example, if you're a biological father and you don't spend time with your kids, and then when you know the child is born, you came by, you hung out long enough to make sure that the name is right. Yeah, got my last name. Okay, cool. I'm out. Right? Yeah, he's Junior. Okay, cool. I'm out. Right? And you don't come around until the child is 12 years old. You can't just come back and be like, I'm your father. You know, I'm daddy. And the child all of a sudden going to be, Father. Oh, Father. Tell me about the ways of the being a man. The ways of the man. Tell me, Daddy. Like, that's not what's going to happen. You have to, even in that situation, you have a biological tie to that person, but you have to establish that relationship. And that's as a biological father or a biological parent. I'm saying as a step parent, as a bonus parent, it's harder and it's more challenging. One of the things, and this will be, I'll close out on this because I seem to be talking about it more and more. I seem to be talking about it more and more. During the course of the adoption, this is what I'm talking about. In order for you to be a part of a child's life, cowards do what they did. Cowards do what they did. You don't adopt a child because you want to establish your relationship. You want to formalize your relationship. And I'm not really going to be their parent. I'm too scared to be in love with this child, to love this child, if I can't legally have ownership over this child. Being a bonus parent, what makes it difficult is you are loving a child and there's a possibility that through no fault of your own, you could lose contact with said child. You're opening your heart to somebody whom you potentially could, one day you and the mom or the parent relationship stops and you no longer have a relationship. I've mentioned this before, but I'll mention it again. Story time. There was a guy I knew. He had a young lady they dated for a while, and she had a son. He loved that boy. He loved that boy so much. Like, it was crazy. You could tell. You ever see somebody you like, he loves that kid. That was him, man. He loved that boy. That was his son. You couldn't tell him that wasn't his son. Okay? He was so close to this child. He took this child into his heart. And when things didn't work out between him and the child's mom, he still wanted to be around. He had been around this child for a number of years. And he wanted to continue to be around this child because he was so close. He bonded with the child. She got a new boyfriend and homeboy was out. He couldn't call, and because he was so close to the boy, she wanted the boy to be closer to the man she dating. She needed to get him out of the way. So she told him he couldn't hang out with the child anymore because he's making him confused. It's making it too difficult for him to bond with her new boyfriend. So he wanted him out. And he lost contact with that boy. It broke his heart. It broke his heart. It was so sad watching that. And I give him credit because despite the fact that was a possibility, he still opened his heart to that young man. And to this day, if that young man ever called that dude up, called my buddy up and said, hey, I need a place to stay. Hey, I need $20. Hey, I need your last money. You got $20. I need your last $20. He would drive 100 miles to give him that $20. If he had to borrow 50 to get to him, so he give him 20, he would do that because he loved that boy. That's his son. As far as he's concerned, that's his son. That's courage. What the Brown family did in taking those kids from their natural father and refusing to allow him to see him because that relationship may have confused the kids. That's not courage. And that's not what love is. And that doesn't demand and command respect from those kids. If you want those kids to love you, build a relationship with them. Because no matter what, and here's the secret to the sauce. Here's the secret to the sauce. 11 herbs and spices. Here it is. If in that situation, like the situation I just talked about, despite the fact that the mother wanted that young man to stop hanging out with my buddy, right? Don't hang out with him no more because you confusing him, and he's not close to my new boyfriend. When my friend left, that boy didn't get close to the boyfriend because he's gone. No, homeboy, you gotta spend that time. You gotta put shovel to soil. You gotta put foot to ass. You gotta, you know what I mean? You gotta spend that time. You gotta make that investment in that young man in order for him to develop that relationship with you. If you want that relationship, it's there for you to be able to obtain that relationship, but you got to spend the time in doing it. It's not enough for you just to be called your daddy. That's not enough to be called a thing. You have to be that thing. As far as that young man is concerned, my buddy is his dad. Simple as that. And you can't tell him no different. You can't tell him no different. I know people, they get married. They grow up with a dude. They'll get married and they'll go back and they'll find that dude and that dude will walk them down the aisle. Not the natural dad. So I mean, if you spend time, you spend time. Erica MF, $20 super chat. Thank you so much, Erica. Appreciate you. I lost my job and couldn't find one where we lived. I found one and it required me to move halfway across the country. And I have cried the entire time. I had a lot of conversations with my child. She understands, but isn't happy. Yeah. And you know what? That's fair play. Because that right there, thank you, Erica. I appreciate that. But that right there, I understand that. That's what I'm talking about. Like when I say, them moving to Vegas was a bad idea, in Erica's situation, that shit happens. That's completely understandable. That's 100%. Let me get over it. That's 100% understandable. I totally understand that. You have to move because you have to find an opportunity because you have to make a way. I totally get that. I totally get that. And if I have to pull you out of school, I don't want to do it. But if I have to, then that is what I have to do. Then that's what I have to do, and I get it. And I'm all about that. Like, you try to make it as comfortable as you can, but we got to survive. This is something that we have to do, and you move. You do what you got to do. But you don't do it because, this guy wants to knock his girlfriend up. That's what I'm saying. Like, so I agree, Erica. And to be honest with you, hats off to you because that shit requires a lot of courage. Like, I ain't gonna bullshit. Pardon my French. I know at least it used to be Sunday. It is still a Sunday. Sorry about that. But yeah, that requires a lot of courage to move out of your comfort zone. And even if you have to move across the country or halfway across the country, hell, move out of town can be difficult. And any change is difficult. And to be honest with you, losing your job is scary. So, during that time, it's already tumultuous because you lost your job, which is scary. You have to move somewhere else, which is scary. And your child is transitioning and going through a different time. That's scary in itself. And these are all things that you have to deal with. And, when you look at it and you drill down on it and you're dealing with life the way you have to deal with life, there's nothing but respect for that. I respect that. I totally respect that. Let's take a look. Bonus parenting is hard work. You have to be a selfless person. Not all are cut out for it. This is true. You also have to respect that the child already has a set of parents. You are the bonus. This is absolutely true. This is absolutely true. I couldn't agree with that shit more. And I'm still with my kid's mom and all that, but I 100% agree with this. Like, this would be, for me, that would always be a thing. Like, if you are with somebody and, you know, their mom is around or the dad is around, especially if the other parent is around, we're not replacing anybody. You're an addition, which is and that makes it sound like, oh, you're diminishing the whole role. No, it's just different. It's just different. It's an amazing experience. If you can step in and you can make somebody's life better, which is what you are doing. That's what you're doing. You're making their life better. You're adding another adult who cares about this child and wants the best for this child, hopefully, and not get anything out of it. That's the one benefit of being a parent. That's what I tell my kids. Like when you talk to other people, they'll give you advice. They'll give you decisions. They'll try to point you in certain directions. Sometimes those people do it out of the kindness of their heart. Sometimes they do it because they get some advantage out of it. Me, when I talk to my kids and I give them my honest opinion or I give them advice or I, counsel them on something, I'm doing so with the best of my ability, with the most knowledge that I have. And I never, ever, ever try to get you to do something that's not in your best interest, even if it goes against my own best interest. I mean, it could be something as simple as, okay, if I tell you that you can go get a job and you can work somewhere and you could be doing something, but you won't be able to do a certain chore that I have to do now, then I have to do that chore. I have to figure it the hell out because I want you to have the most experience that you could have, the best experience you have. This is a dumb example, but you get what I'm saying. All right. And I think that's the thing of a parent. Like if you're a decent parent, if you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, I'm not even going to say a good parent, but if you're a decent parent, you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, you should want for your kids. And as a bonus parent, you want for that child what that child wants. I want them to be happy. I want them to be able to experience life. I want them to be able to have the most fulfilled life that they can have. And if you're stepping into a bonus parent role, if dad is there or mom is there, and especially if they're working together, why am I stepping into that, interrupting that fine-tuned machine? Okay, I'm just there to add on. You're just there to add on. Don't cut them out. And that's what I say. That's one of the things, the biggest pet peeves I have with the whole adoption, the adoption arc of Sister Wives. That's my biggest pet peeve of that. Is that if everything is moving forward, even if the dad, for some reason, if I believe what you're saying, the dad wasn't really calling when he should have called or whatever the case may be, maybe he wasn't calling because there could be other things other than he's just too busy to talk to your kids. He had a whole wife and kids that he was dealing with as well. He could call your house. Maybe when he called, he wasn't getting a right response from Cody, which is fucked up. And you should, as a father, if I don't care what she's doing or what she says to you, you keep calling, you keep trying. If she don't want to, you call on Monday, she don't let you talk to him on Monday, you call her ass on Tuesday. She don't let you talk to him on Tuesday, talk to you Wednesday. Okay, you keep trying, you keep trying, you keep trying, and you don't let them discourage you. Never let them discourage you if you try. This part of my family court, my take on family court. You never, because I've seen cases where, and I'm currently watching cases where you have parents who are they put in and they'll be put in for a request or a modification. That request, pleading, or modification gets denied. Then they keep going back and they keep trying, and eventually they wind up with custody because they were telling the truth, but they just stayed persistent. They just kept, the same way, and this is an example I used before, and I'll use it again. I've used it for many years, but I'll use it again. Is that the same way if instead of this child being a baby, if this child was a stack of fresh, it was $20,000 bills sewed into a coat, a Technicolor dream coat, you would show up every week to fight and fight and fight to get that coat. If it was if instead of a child, you guys made a business, and that business, you were both equal partners in that business. You put in 50-50 to get this business started. And then that business turned out to be worth $100 million. There's no way you would stop calling to get your share of that business or that control of that business, because you called and she was mean to you on the phone. You would call back. I don't give a shit. You call me what you gonna call me. But I want to find out what's going on with it. When's the damn meeting? When are we meet with the people we need to meet with? When we meet with the advisors? You know what I mean? You showing up to the parent teacher conferences. If she's upset, she could be upset. You just be mad over there. I'll be mad over here. And then you just keep on moving forward. But don't let people discourage you. But even with that being said, what bothered me with this was that with the Brown family and the way they approached it, they iced this dude out because it's convenient for you, because by name you get to be called daddy, and you don't want to be close to these kids unless you have ownership over these kids. To me, that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. And it's insulting and it's infuriating, because the only people you're hurting in that situation is the kids. You're just doing that, and I'm gonna get a little bit on the soapbox a little bit. I'm trying not to be mad, and I'm trying not to cuss a lot, but too late. But I'm just trying to say, like, if you do that to somebody, you're isolating them, you're pushing them aside, you're making them feel bad. You're doing that for you. You're not doing that for the kids, okay? Because the kids get excited. As much as you might not like that dude or like that woman, you like them enough at one point to make a baby. Okay, 1, 2, as much as you might not like them, those kids still do. In most cases, the kids still like their mom or their dad. All right, mom and dad might be messing up, but they still have feelings for them. And you don't want to do things to hurt your kids or stand in the way of that relationship. That's just my thing. Let's see. Yeah, I agree with that. Erica, your move was needed. Brown's was not. I agree with that. Yeah, Erica, I tell you, keep your head up. Keep your head up. And you'd be surprised, because one of the hurtful things as a parent is, like, there's a song I listened to, like, it just came across my thing. And it's the last verse of Mockingbird from Eminem. He talks about, like, he sings the Mockingbird song. And that shit breaks my heart every time I hear it. But it's as a parent, one of the things that you try to do is you try to protect your kid away from, because you want the best for them. And sometimes you feel like you're failing because you can't provide all the financial stuff or the security that you want to give to your kid, because every parent wants to give their kid everything they could give them. They want to put them in the finest school with the finest clothes, with the finest this and the best of that and everything. Every parent wants that. And when you feel like you can't give those things to your kids, you feel like you're failing, you feel like you're letting them down, and it could hurt. It hurts a lot. But the one thing that I will say is that half the time, the thing that you worry about are things that your kids aren't worried about. And even if you are in a situation where the kids might be mad at you because you can't provide this or you can't provide that, there will come a time, and trust me when I say this, there will come a time when your kid will experience something and they'll say to themselves, like, I don't know how mom did it. I don't know how she did this without losing her damn mind. Okay, because they realize, like, right now, you have one perspective, because even though you're going through it, might not bear the brunt of the responsibility of said thing. So you are going through it, but you aren't necessarily understanding the full complexities of what you're going through. It's kind of happening more to you than you actually participate in it. And that's where kids kind of are. But as you become an adult and you understand more, trust me when I say that, they will become grateful, especially if you're able to keep a positive mindset moving forward and show them that positive mindset. Yeah, some bad things happen, but we're going to keep moving forward. We had some tough times. We're going to keep moving forward. Yeah, we got knocked down, but guess what? We're going to get up and we're going to keep moving forward. If I can look up, I'm going to get up and I'm going to keep on swinging. And we ain't done till I win this mother. Either I'm getting carried out, either I'm going to keep hustling till they carry my ass out because I ain't make it, or I'm going to win. And you have that mindset, that's something that they will remember. that determination, and that motivation. And when you cry, don't be afraid to cry. Because as one song said, greatest man who ever lived, who set the example, Jesus wept. Don't be afraid of tears. Don't be afraid, you feel like you let yourself down and you let the baby down. That's part of the gig. Every parent feels like that at some point. But it's just, you got to keep staying there. You got to keep pushing, got to keep fighting. You make the moves you need to make so that you can put yourself in a position you want to be in. And you let them see that when shit gets tough and they start to get tight, that we don't quit. That's something that they take with them too. And that in itself is a lesson that you can pass on to your kids, that you can show them that when stuff start getting tight, it start getting hard, we don't bow down, we don't cower, we don't quit, we don't give up, we don't give in, we don't get over, we go through. And that's what you show your children. And your children will pick up on that. One of the hardest things that every parent wants to teach their kid to be strong. Sometimes the best way for you to teach your kid to be strong, independent, and forthright and keep themselves moving forward with that type of mindset is for them to see you do it and how you address it. And so that's why I say I give you a lot of credit for taking it upon yourself to look at this situation. Erica, you looked at it, you said, you know what? I got knocked down. This is a move I got to make. I'm going to make that move, and I'm going to do that move. And I respect that. I totally respect that. And that's why I respect that, because that also teaches your daughter or teaches your child. I think you have a daughter. With your child, you didn't say whether it was boy or girl, but I'm sorry. I'm I guess. But it teaches your child that this is what you have to do. This is what you have to do, and we don't quit. We don't come from a group. We don't come from the cut of people that when stuff start getting tough, we just look for a window to fall out of. You know what I mean? We figure it out. And there's nothing wrong with that. I get it. It's hard at the time. It's fucking hard. Like when you lose a job or you get laid off or whatever, it's hard because it's not what you want. But at the same time, and I don't want to say this and be the Lord works in mysterious ways or has his own plan. I know that can be a little verbose to say that, but it doesn't really make you feel better when people say that. But when things happen, I won't say things happen for a reason. Sometimes the reason's good, sometimes the reason's bad, sometimes not so good. But just keep believing that you'll be put into the position you need to be put in the place and the time and the position that you need to be put in so you can win. And you just keep looking for your opportunity to win. One of the things that I tell my kids all the time, and I'm sorry I'm dragging this out for those who might not get it, but for those who get it, good, or need to hear this. But there is a point where things will happen and you will put yourself in a position. And as long as the only thing you can control in a lot of these situations is your view and your mentality and how you see it and how you perceive it. So you perceive it as negative, it's all negative. And once you start getting yourself in the habit, because it's all about habits, you get yourself in the habit of finding all the problems, all the negatives, all the things that's going wrong, then you will keep seeing the stuff that's going wrong and why it ain't working. And this is terrible and this bad because nothing ever happens good for me. And and you will drag yourself down. But at the same time, the opposite side of that coin, the flip side of that coin is if you look for positives, even if it's one thing, like that's what I try to train myself to do. And it's worked for me to this point, is that I try to find, like, even when negative stuff happens, I try to find the one positive thing that I can focus on, right? Okay, you don't have, like, my mic, just as a dumbass example, my mic, it isn't working. Okay, I have something. Well, at least I have a mic. I might not have the good mic that I need in order for me to shoot the videos I need to put out so that my channel will do okay. Okay, fine, fuck it. I have a mic. I'm going to work with what I got. And then I'll find a way to make the other parts happen. But I'm gonna focus on the positive stuff that I have right in front of me, because I can't do anything about, like, I can't do something about something I don't have, but I can work with what I do have, right? So you try to find that positive. And once you keep finding that positive, you keep looking, you'll keep finding positive. It becomes habitual. You'll look for the bright side of the situation. So when bad things do happen, just take time, slow it down, and look for the positive. Look for that. Keep your options open. That's one of the other things I always tell my kids. It's not about like people being trapped. A lot of people get trapped in bad choices or bad decisions or bad circumstances because they feel like they don't have any choices. But if you can just slow down, you see that there's more than just the one choice. You do have other options. It might not be fun options, might not be, you know what I mean, stuff you want to do, but you do have more than the one choice. And just like you might look at it and say, okay, I've lost this situation, but there's another choice I can make, and it might take me out of my comfort zone and cause me to move halfway across the country. But that's what I have to do. That's what I'm gonna do. And that's, you know, and you think that you letting your kids down, but your kids might cry, they might not like the situation, but there is a lesson that's being learned there. And I think that that's valuable as well. Was this you are your own biggest cheerleader or greatest enemy? It depends on what you will tell yourself every day. This is very true, Flying Chunk. And what is it, the African proverb? The enemy within, you have to fight the enemy within, because the enemy outside is not the one you have to worry about. So that mother is sitting on your heart. That was money. She didn't want to work. She want to take everybody else's money. Rob them, loot them, and howl. That's what we had to do name. Rob them, loot them, and howl. Yep, but yeah, grifter. All right, but that's all I had, guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with a player. Unfortunately, Jenny wasn't able to join us this week, which is fine. Hopefully she'll be able to join us next week. Next week we'll be talking about, let's see where we are. Next week we will be going over becoming sister wives. And we are finishing up family. That's part 3. So we're moving on to part 4, which is celebrity. And we'll be talking about Mary. That's chapter 13. Lucky number 13. So we'll be talking about that next week. As far as what I have going on, I have, like I said, Sister Lives tomorrow. I'll be getting my mic, and then I'm going to be releasing videos. I know I've been promising that for the last couple of weeks, and I'm so embarrassed about that. But like I said, when I was trying to do my my videos, I couldn't get the sound to work. And it was just terrible. So I have made moves to try to make this happen. So I appreciate you guys sticking in there with me. For some people, the mic sounds okay. Like I went back and listened to some of my stuff. It sounds okay on some of my other speakers. But this one sound system I have, it just sounded crazy. So I'm going to move forward from there. We're just going to keep moving forward. Boys being boys. I'm going to keep moving forward. But yeah, I appreciate you guys coming in, hanging out. Hopefully Jenny will be able to join us next week. And for the most part, let me thank the mods. I got Lizzie B, I have Rochelle J, and I got J Baby in the house. Hold it down for the mods. I appreciate you guys keeping it positive in the chat section and keeping everything moving forward. I appreciate you so much, Erica. You'll be in my prayers. Happy birthday, Dad. Yeah, catching up with you soon. I think he was I think he might even be in here somewhere. Yeah, I talked to him earlier. He said he might swing through, but he's not a talker guy, so he might be in the house. But yeah, thanks everybody for coming and hanging out with me. I appreciate you. Appreciate everybody's support as we move forward. And make sure you keep an eye out for Sister Lives tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I'm going to have my new channel behind me in the background. I got to create a little streamer for it, a little banner. And you guys will be able to see it. You can sign up if you want. I think you can sign up already. You can subscribe if you want to, if you're interested in any court type cases. Family court, it'll be amazing. It's My Take on Family Court is the name of the channel. That's it. That's my take. I'm James. This has been My Take on Reality, and I'm out. Thank you guys so much for joining me. Thanks to the mods. Thanks to the awesome chat. Have a great weekend. Rest of your weekend, closing the weekend out at 9-10 o'clock here on the East Coast. But for those who are a little early, you're a little early. All right. Thank you guys so much. I will catch you next week with Jenny, and I'll maybe catch you tomorrow or in a future video. Have a great night. Thanks. I'm out.